Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We call the meeting of Liberty County Board of Commissioners to order. Good to see everyone in the room. Thank you for coming. I do like to make an announcement. Sometimes we meet twice a month, the first Tuesday and the third Thursday. First Tuesday, 6 o'clock, third Thursday, 5 o'clock, unless there's some reason to adjust our meeting dates and time, but those are our standard dates and times. We also have working real hard on keeping our county commission website updated, as well as we live stream our meetings, so you have opportunities to peep in at us. And of course, the minutes are also available for your review, either paper copy, or certainly you can go online and look at those also. So we offer that to you because we do want our community to stay involved and to be informed. I find out that a reason a lot of things happen or misconception out there because people are not informed by no fault of their own sometimes. They just don't understand how things work or what goes on. So if you attend the meetings, whether it be live or live stream, you will get a better understanding of how the county commission operates and even to what the responsibilities are. Also finding out that some people have a misconception of what our responsibilities are. So we offer all those opportunities to you to learn how we work and what we do to make Liberty County a great place to live. At this time, we're going to ask our Assistant County Administrator, Mr. Moses, to lead us in our prayer and pledge of allegiance. Please stand for the prayer and the pledge.
Let us pray. Gracious and kind Father, we thank you for all that you do for us on a daily basis. We come humbly as children. We thank you, Father God, for your many blessings. And we ask right now, Father, that you would bless this Board of Commissioners. Father God, give them divine wisdom and insight as they transact the business community. We pray that you put your loving arm of protection around them and keep them from all hurt, harm, and danger. And Father God, we ask that you would bless, and we thank you for being with our soldiers as they return home. These and all the other blessings we ask in the mighty and matchless name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Proclamations, Earth Day, Dr. Karen Bell and entourage.
Good evening, Commissioner and Chairman. I am Dr. Karen Bell, the Executive Director for Keep Liberty Beautiful, and the wonderful, wonderful Chairman. Do you would like to say who you are?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Willa Lewis. I am the Chairman of the Board for Keep Liberty Beautiful.
She's on so many, she had to think about that one. We're here this afternoon or this evening to let you know about Earth Day. Earth Day is just a day to remind everyone that we only have one Earth, one planet. We can't go anywhere else, so we need to take care of it. Earth Day is always on April 22nd, but here in Liberty County in 2024, we will be celebrating on April 19th, 2024 at Bryan's Commons, you're right, which is tomorrow, Friday. We hope to see all of you out there from 3:30 to 6:30. We have about 60 different activities out there that's all free for family, young and old, to come out and enjoy. We're giving away fruit trees. You need to go online and reserve those. We may have some, but I cannot guarantee. So you need to go online to reserve those. And then we'll also be making mobile gardens. So people will have the opportunity to learn about mobile gardens, actually put them together themselves out there. Each garden could have tomatoes, onions, and basil, or tomato, chives, and rosemary. And some of them maybe have cucumbers, but they get the opportunity to learn about that and do them themselves. And that's courtesy of a grant that we got for Keep America Beautiful and Target. And we are so happy right now. We have given out over 452 mobile gardens in Liberty County. If I don't know if that deserves a clap out. And the whole initiative behind that was just to let everyone know that you don't need a big garden or green space to have a garden or grow fresh vegetables or herbs. You can do it in a 5-gallon bucket. And that's what we're so happy to let our community know. Yes, you may.
And I just want to say, in case some of our volunteers are listening in online, that 452, the mobile gardens that were put together were already put together. You didn't have to do it yourself, thanks to our wonderful, wonderful volunteers. We could not do it without them. So I just wanted to give a shout out to them.
Thank you, volunteers.
Yes, thank you. And then I would like to take 1 second, I'm sorry, to brag, if that's okay, or make known that your Keep Larry Beautiful is receiving 2 switching hats here. Rivers Alive Awards next week. We have one for our Girl Scout troop for Rivers Alive, and then Keep Larry Beautiful for everyone for being the initiative of cleanups for our coastalways. So we look forward to bringing that home to Liberty County next Tuesday. That's all I have.
What am I supposed to do with this?
Remember, we go up there.
Oh.
The proclamation.
This is a proclamation designating April 19th, 2024 as Earth Day in Liberty County. Whereas the first Earth Day was created 54 years ago, recognizing the importance of every person in preserving our natural resources. And on that first Earth Day, 20 million Americans rallied for a healthy, sustainable environment. And whereas the global community now faces extraordinary challenges such as global health issues, food and water shortages, extreme weather events, and economic struggles. And whereas all life forms on Earth have a right to a healthy, sustainable environment, and as caretakers of the planet, we all have an obligation to change the human behaviors that contribute to climate change and environmental degradation, to preserve the Earth's beauty and its resources. And whereas this obligation extends not only to today's caretakers, but also to the future generations of caretakers who will inherit the planet from us. And whereas Liberty County is blessed with a wealth of green space, which enriches the lives of both residents and visitors alike, providing habitat for varied flora and fauna, sustainable natural resources, and many diverse recreational opportunities. And whereas Liberty County supports projects that demonstrate and encourage energy conservation, sustainability, and the usage of renewable energy. And whereas many local community members, schools, businesses, environmental organizations are working together in the interest of the planet to inspire intergenerational participation through local actions and global environmental consciousness. Now therefore be it resolved, I, Donald L. Lovett, and the members of the Liberty County Commissioners do hereby proclaim April 19th, 2024 as Earth Day in Liberty County. And I encourage all citizens to become engaged in local and global efforts to help improve the environment. So declared on this April 18th, 2024.
And sir, can I mention one thing, because I would not be doing my job if I didn't, that we have Great American Cleanup, April 27th, right, every city and the county have a location, and we hope that all you can come out to join us. That's at 9 o'clock at all locations to 12. Lunch, T-shirts, and your equipment will be provided.
Good.
Well, now I have to wait till they tell me I can come up now.
Please come. I thought Mr. Commissioner Gillett was going to chime in there for a minute.
I know. We gotta bring the trophy home.
I was given an assignment from the mayor of Hinesville to bring
Keep it there.
as many as we can.
Let's see.
Ms. Willer.
Hold on, not everybody's looking yet, sir.
Okay. Where do we need to be? Right here?
Oh,
Okay.
you're blocking.
You're
Now I'm
blocking the
blocking that.
sign.
Yeah, just go in there, right there.
There you go, perfect. All right, everybody look and smile.
Wait a minute. Willow, she ain't holding the flag.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
It says annual
Earth Day celebration.
From today, from 3:30 to 6:30. See you there. Got it. Roll it up all the way down. Thank
National Small Business Week, Mr. Bobby Reynolds and Aunt. It's Leah.
Sorry.
Hey, Bobby
So-
was ready though.
Yeah.
Time to get up.
National Small Business Week is the last Sunday in April through the first Sunday in May, and we are excited to celebrate in our county. Don't really have a whole lot to say because I feel like the proclamation says pretty much everything.
All right.
This proclamation, April 28th through May 4th, 2024, declared as National Small Business Week. Whereas America's progress has been driven by pioneers who think big, take risks, and work hard. And whereas from the storefront shops that anchor Main Street to the high-tech startups that keep America on the cutting edge, small businesses are the backbone of our economy and the cornerstones of our nation's promise. And whereas small business owners and Main Street businesses have energy and a passion for what they do. And whereas when we support small businesses, jobs are created and local communities preserve their unique culture. And whereas because this country's 28 million small businesses create nearly 2 out of 3 jobs in our economy, we cannot resolve ourselves to create jobs and spur economic growth in America without discussing ways to support our entrepreneurs. And whereas the President of the United States has proclaimed National Small Business Week every year since 1963 to highlight the programs and services available to entrepreneurs through the U.S. Small Business Administration and other government agencies. And whereas Liberty County supports and joins in this national effort to help America's small businesses do what they do best, create jobs, and ensure that our communities remain as vibrant tomorrow as they are today. Now therefore, I, Donald L. Lovett, Chairman of the Liberty County Board of Commissioners, Liberty County, Georgia, do hereby proclaim April 28th through May 4th, 2024 as National Small Business Week. In testimony whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the Great Seal of Liberty County, Georgia, this the 18th day of April, 2024.
Are you ready for us to come up there?
Yes, come on.
Squeeze. This picture's too wide.
Who's receiving? Come on.
Thank you. Sorry.
I got you, Commissioner. 1, 2. One more. 1, 2, 3. Got it. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate you.
See you again.
I think you got one more.
I guess we better just stand up. What's the other one?
Can't say enough about, when every time the chamber announces a ribbon cutting, I can't say enough about small businesses and how rich they are in Liberty County. Lee, I keep forgetting the number that we have. I know it's a big number of small businesses. We are proud of them. We're proud to support them. And I encourage everyone to take advantage of what they have to offer in Liberty County so that while I said this yesterday, we certainly celebrate the franchises. No doubt we're glad to have them here. We're certainly happy to have the small businesses who are here too, who give back to our community every day. So thank you for supporting what small businesses do. Yeah. And I thought Commissioner Frazier might have said amen, but I didn't hear him say amen back there.
He said it in his head.
Amen.
All right, thank you. Thank you. International Firefighters Day, Chief Darby.
Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners. Coming before you all tonight for the Proclamation for International Firefighters Day, which will take place Saturday, May 4th. This proclamation is for Liberty County as a whole to recognize the firefighters who have served, who are still alive, the firefighters who have lost their lives in service, not only here in the U.S., but also internationally. There are many times throughout a year that it's not really recognized or known that we have firefighters from the U.S. who will go to other countries throughout the world to help with fire suppression techniques. This International Firefighters Day was actually founded on a huge mutual aid that was a global support for Australia many years ago, where there were a few U.S. firefighters who did lose their lives while trying to protect somebody on a whole different homeland. So I asked for a proclamation tonight for International Firefighters Day.
This is a proclamation for Liberty County Board of Commissioners for International Firefighters Day. Whereas International Firefighters Day was established in 1999 to remember those firefighters worldwide lost in the line of duty, protecting the safety of us all. And whereas the role of a firefighter in today's society, be it urban, rural, natural environment, volunteer, career, industrial, defense force, aviation, motorsport, or other, is one of dedication, commitment, and sacrifice, no matter what country they reside and work in. And whereas International Firefighters Day recognizes those firefighters who have served their communities for most of their lives and those who have served for just a few short years. And whereas hailing from all walks of life, they are our mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, grandparents, neighbors, and friends. They protect us without wanting of recognition or reward. In our time of need, they are there with courage, compassion, and loyalty. They are the essence of the true meaning of the community. Therefore, be it resolved that the Liberty County Board of Commissioners do hereby encourage all citizens to recognize not only our local firefighters, but those worldwide on May 4th, 2024, and year-round for their courage, selfless service, and sacrifice. Signed this 18th day of April, 2024.
Chief, what we'll do, I know you're next on the agenda also for the swearing-in ceremony.
Yes, sir.
After the swearing-in, we'll take two pictures, one with the certificate and one with you.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. So the other reason I'm here tonight, Commissioners, is we have two new additions. One you have met. You've met Assistant Chief Charles Roney. He is our fire marshal. One that you have not met, he is our Deputy Chief Christopher Morrison, Jr. He comes to us from DeKalb County. Before I get into swearing, I'd like to ask him to come up and introduce themselves to all of y'all.
To the Commissioners, Chairman Lovett, County Administration, and to guests, my name is Christopher Morrison, Jr. I have 29 years and 11 months of service with DeKalb County Fire Rescue, and I'm honored to stand before you this evening as a Deputy Fire Chief for Liberty County Fire Services. I would also like to say I'm excited to serve, alongside Chief Darby in the leadership capacity. And I'm also looking forward to take advantage of the opportunities that are before us so that we may position Liberty County Fire Services to be the premier emergency service delivery department in the coastal area. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Chief, I'm going to have you stand by. Commissioners, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask that Deputy Chief Morrison's family and friends in attendance come up while I swear him in real quick.
Came all the way from DeKalb County?
All the way from DeKalb County.
For years, I thought I was the only person that moved from DeKalb to Liberty County.
No.
But I see it's at least two of us here.
Now,
There we go. Three, there we go.
All
I
right.
came back home, yeah. Not
All
too
right,
many
so-
people moved from DeKalb to Liberty.
Was you on the fire department up there?
Nah, I didn't get a chance to do that.
All right, we got a swearing-in ceremony going.
Did everything else.
Hey, man. Some people up here diverse, I'm sorry.
Chief Morrison, at this time, I ask you please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Christopher Morrison, Jr.,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of Georgia.
and the state of Georgia.
I will support those whom I serve.
I will support those whom I serve.
I will faithfully and impartially,
I will faithfully and impartially,
without reservation,
without reservation,
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as the Deputy Fire Chief of Liberty County Fire Services
as a Deputy Fire Chief of Liberty County Fire Services.
under the appointing of the department,
Under the appointing of the department,
the officers appointed over me,
the officers appointed over me,
according to the laws of the state of Georgia,
according to the laws of the state of Georgia,
to the best of my abilities,
to the best of my abilities,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Welcome aboard, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
At this time, we have a tradition of taking a shield, and I'm going to ask that his wife, Vera Morrison, who has a bunch of history with her and her department, present him with his helmet.
Thank you so much.
can't see her. Come on. 1, 2.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner.
One more time.
And then one last swearing in is for our fire marshal. This is a division that was stood up this year. This is going to be the swearing in of our Assistant Chief of Fire Prevention, Charles Roney.
Are they in a good angle for the camera, gentlemen? IT? Okay, all right.
Chief Roney, please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Charles Ronick,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
I will support
the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of Georgia.
and the state of Georgia.
I will support those whom I serve.
I will support those whom I serve.
I will faithfully and impartially,
I will faithfully and impartially,
without reservation,
without reservation,
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as a fire marshal for Liberty County Fire Services
as a fire marshal for Liberty County Fire Services,
under the appointing of the department
under the appointing of the department,
and the officers appointed over me,
officers appointed over me,
according with the laws of the state of Georgia,
according to the laws of the state of Georgia,
to the best of my
to my
abilities.
best abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Chief. And then tonight, we have his wife and family, but his wife is going to present his helmet, Miss Sarah.
Brian, we didn't hear from the fire marshal. We didn't hear from him. We heard from,
You heard from, I'll be more than glad to have him come back up. Chief Roney came to our commissioners meeting.
he did, but
Two meetings ago, but
let's let him say hello.
Chief Roney, you want to come up and say a few words?
He wasn't dressed then.
Yeah, I didn't have, commissioners, chairman, it's been a busy few months or a few weeks I've been here getting things established. But it's moving forward, and I'm looking forward to keep on moving forward with the construction and businesses of the county and helping this department and the county grow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We're going to take our photo now, sir.
Okay. Let me say this about both of these gentlemen. Glad to have you both to join our ranks. But our fire marshal, we're certainly happy to have you. We know that there's been a need in Liberty County. The chief has been working with us to make this happen, and we want to ensure that we provide the best fire services, to our county, to businesses, and to industry, because it was reported to us that we were lacking in that area. I'm just going to be transparent. So we're happy now to have someone to fill that void, which is a promise we made, Commissioners, and it's a promise kept today, so happy to have you here. Deputy Fire Chief, thank you. I think it's a statement to be made, sir, when someone, most of the, not most, a fair number of people from Liberty County go the other way. They leave south and go north.
Most.
It's good to have somebody to come south. Good to have and embrace our community. I think you're going to enjoy. Good to have you and your family to be in our presence today. Welcome to the team. If you all come on up, then we'll take off.
Wait a minute.
Gary's trying to find out what district he's in.
Yep.
I already got him now. He's gone. He's gone.
Yes, sir.
You remember Angela McAlpin?
Uh-huh.
She was married to Winston.
Commissioner Jones, will you come up to the stand?
I'm trying to, sir.
One, two, three.
Thank you. CNN. All right. Thank you, sir.
Really? Okay, okay.
He had kind of inside look at it. Yeah. Angela.
Winston passed.
You ain't fighting no fires out there. What fire are you fighting? What fire are you fighting? You put on a suit?
I don't know what I'm gonna do with these two.
My God.
We'll get together.
Oh, really?
I don't mess with nobody interstate no more.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Especially thank you all for making the trip. Appreciate that.
Think about interstate paper roads.
We'll keep the lights on for you.
You don't mention that one, don't claim it.
Right there. Yes.
All righty, Ms. Samantha, you want to come and present finance to us?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I know we have a full agenda, so I'll try to keep finance presentation brief. But this evening, I'm here to present our February 2024 financials. At the end of February, we have collected approximately 60% of our budgeted revenues for the year. We have spent approximately 65% of our budgeted expenditures. We currently have approximately 3.4 months of operational expenditures in our fund balance, unreserved fund balance. This is turning around as we knew it would with the collection of the property taxes coming in. Looking at the year-to-date expenditures for the general fund, there are some that are running slightly ahead of schedule. Some of these are due to the timing of payments where dues or certain fees are paid at the beginning of the fiscal year. So those departments will show over budget for the remainder of the year until we get to June. Those include the General Administration Department, the Conservation Administration Department. Other departments running ahead of schedule, elections, their technical services are causing them to be a little ahead of schedule due to the municipal elections that were held in November and December. Risk management is showing over budget currently due to our pension payment that we made to ACCG. This is paid once a year and is due by January 31st. So this will all level out by the end of the year. Animal Services had some vehicle repairs in August, and they've also experienced some higher food supply costs, so they are showing over budget. But we will continue to monitor to ensure that these departments do not go over budget. Our other financing uses, as we've discussed previously, includes our drawdowns on our 2022 series bonds, primarily relating to Miller Park Fire Station. And we have until June to spend down the remaining funds. Turning the page to solid waste. Solid waste currently has a net income for the month of February of $440,000. This is largely due to us start collecting those solid waste assessments. By the end of February, we have collected approximately 71% of our budgeted revenues and spent 62% of our budgeted expenditures. There are currently no departments for solid waste exceeding budget. And if we flip over to the next page, our special revenue funds, they are all looking great within budget. There's a tiny $32 difference for the victim witness district attorney. This is just a timing of some payments that they made for fuel and dues, I believe. But we don't anticipate any of these going over budget for the year. Turning the page to the sales tax reports, I've included sales tax 6 just to give you an update on where we are with the projects under the referendum. We have remaining approximately $6.7 million left to spend out of sales tax 6. And moving on to sales tax 7 for February, we collected $1,039,000 for the month. This is another good collection month for this sales tax. We have spent approximately $4.3 million from our sales tax $7, and we have collected over, let's see, sales tax, sorry about that, $10.8 million in total. For T-SPLOS, we have collected for February $967,000 approximately. Over the span of our T-SPLOS, we've collected $37.7 million of our anticipated $54 million. We have spent approximately $17.7 on our T-SPLOS projects. That completes my presentation for February. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, I believe we have another item on the agenda for finance.
Okay, before you go there.
Yes, sir.
You're probably, I'm just thinking when a citizen the other day was quizzing me about solid waste and how that fee is applied. It's probably be good to have an update on that, more so as an educational tool than anything. You know,
Sure.
One meeting when our agenda's not so full, we can work that in.
Absolutely. Yes.
Also, probably an update on, let's see, kind of like a sales tax, what would I call it? Not projection. I want to know where we are with, you know, you have your items that are on referendum. Where are we with, yeah, just an update on where, yeah.
Oh, completion of.
Yeah. I know some things have been complete, some things are still pending. It's just kind of where we are with those things, okay?
Yeah. Chair, Mr. Brown and Chairman, we've talked about the Miller, not the Miller Park, the Isle of Wight relocation or revamping. Is that anywhere in the picture that, you know, we were talking about moving it further back? Is that anywhere in the picture?
I'm trying to move
Isle of Wight Convenience Center.
Isle of Wight Convenience
okay,
Center.
okay,
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir, Mr. Long, and he may talk about that when he comes up, but we've already looked at a relocation back further, and I know he's had some initial conversations with the property owner to
Okay.
talk about that.
Okay.
But that is already funded. It's funded in solid waste, so it's not a
Okay.
problem. Yes,
All
sir.
right, good, good.
Matt,
Yes, sir.
the obligation that we have for, from the commissioners to different districts here, of course, I know the monies have not been sent to them yet, have they, Joey? For Wallace Martin and,
No, sir, they would actually draw for those by invoice to us, and then
Okay.
we'd reimburse them, yes, sir.
what I was wondering is, I see a transfer is 380 for recreation. And does it give don't really say what that particular project, where it was at. Was that at Miller Park? Or was that it had to been at, I mean, this is all the recreation, and it said from District 6, $380,000, and I didn't know, this here looked like this is for, the one on the bottom looked like it was for the Airport Road, project.
I'm showing in Samantha can correct me.
Well, I think they're calling that South Side Park, is that correct?
That was Cribbs Park. That was the
Okay.
one that y'all, yes, sir.
So is that 111,000, is that coming off the 380? Or was that 380 for one, park alone? Is that a standalone figure, or is that?
No, the 380 comprises, the transfers to recreation.
Yeah.
Which were total transfers to recreation out of there, but there had to be, that is not, that footnote's not capturing all of that 380, if that is transfers to recreation. I hadn't done the math real quick.
I think that was a reallocation of those funds from recreation into these different districts. I have a spreadsheet that I could pull for more information on that.
We'll look and see, Commissioner Walden, what comprises that 380.
Yes.
I mean, it's still a little ways from being completed, ain't it? Miller Park?
Miller's finished.
Well, I mean, we got everything in place.
Still, except the pavilion.
The pavilion.
The pavilion's out for bid, but
And that was my thing, that was one thing that we really talked about that, and
Right.
and a little bit of reworking on the bathrooms, wasn't it?
well, there's be bathrooms in the new pavilion
That's
Okay.
that goes in, and we'll
So that
demolish
other
those
will be tore
olders.
down?
It ought to be tore down, yes, sir.
Well, I knew I had put some money in there at least once, and I think we moved some money for the Southside Fire Department down there too, didn't we?
The Southside Park.
Yeah, well,
Southside Park.
Southside Park, but the Miller Park Fire Station, do you see that?
No, sir.
We had determined there was some bad dirt, and everybody kind of gave a little bit of money on that?
No, sir, didn't have to.
Okay.
No, sir, we covered that.
Take none out?
No, sir,
As long as you
no,
didn't
sir.
take any out,
We
that's
didn't take
fine.
it out.
Okay.
We didn't take it out.
Mr. Chairman, I had a question along that same page there in District 3. The peak striping contract for, is that, but has any of that striping taken place, or is that something Mr. Long needs to address?
That's something Mr. Long needs to address.
I can ask him when he
Yes,
comes
ma'am.
up. Okay, but the funds are available through LMIG?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, I'll get with him. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
We have one more item on the agenda is the FY '25 CIP. So I believe this requires a board action tonight. We did make the change that was suggested to us at the planning retreat, and I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.
What about the 2 voting polls for renovation? Are they on here? Remember we had mentioned that
Yes, sir.
earlier?
I remember which category.
What we
put
would
them
have
in.
picked up would what would have come from elections. And I don't remember them being in there. I haven't got their budget book here, but
I think that may be something, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Brown, that may be something maybe a committee could look at and see, because we had talked about, I mean, I'm not exactly sure
The
how.
Gum Branch?
Yeah, Gum Branch and one in.
196.
As to how often they're actually used, and if we might can just see if we can go with the current way we're doing it, or if we need to rebuild. It depends on how often they're used. Like,
sure, be glad
To
to look at it.
invest how much money to rebuild or renovate versus how much we're paying. I don't know exactly where your voters go. And now with the early voting, I'm not sure.
Worth it.
You know, if it's really worth to renovate, or to how many actually, you know, what the average
How
is
many times?
early voting?
Early voting
Versus-
complex.
Yeah, early voting versus going to the polls on election day.
Definitely can look at it and then have discussion with the election board also about that same
If that's
thing.
something we may need to look into, but if you'll discuss it with them and see. If
Okay.
not, I won't give that voting precinct to Gum Branch.
Is that $2 million that's dedicated for that and under the
No,
elections?
No, sir.
No, that was for
Well, it
the,
says proposed distribution elections, 2,163,000.
That was, out of Splash 6, that was to do the planning on the new,
on
the
the
new
new
building.
facility.
You
down
know,
here.
For the new building, yes, sir, for them. That was money that was allocated to do the
Okay.
architectural work and everything.
But Commissioner Thrift's talking about taking the old fire department and,
No, not the
No,
fire.
no, no, not the fire
no,
department.
no, Not the
is
fire
that what
department.
you're saying?
The precinct beside the old fire department belongs to the county. The precinct, the voting precinct beside the city hall and the fire department belongs to the city of Gum Branch. I'm not talking about that.
Okay, you just talking about,
The little block building beside it that's outdated.
okay.
And then we're not able to use anymore. And then Commissioner Stevens has one in his district. They're not handicap
Handicap
compliant or social distancing is when we got into that. But we'll have to see what we need to do with those buildings.
Let's have the Board of Elections.
Yes, sir.
Give us a report.
We'd be glad to meet with them. Again, Commissioner Jones, we did add, as she mentioned, that other item for Gill Park that you talked about, okay?
Joey, I know some places they're voting in churches. What is the ruling on separation of church and state?
I don't, Eddie, I can't,
Well,
I
you're
mean-
supposed to know it.
well,
That may be, yeah, I would like to know that also because, you know, obviously that's where they're voting at in my district and that's the main precinct. But we've been doing it for years, so.
We're
I'm
not.
sure it would have been challenged had it not been legal
yeah.
some time ago.
We
We've been
Baptist,
voting in the
we
Fleming
Baptist, so it
Fleming
don't
Baptist
really
Church for a
matter.
long, long time.
We Baptists,
Well, I mean,
We
the
won't allow
Baptist church also.
Yeah.
Was it Baptist versus?
the mothers will allow.
Hey, I'm split down the middle, so, I'm not touching that one.
Hey, I'm Baptist, we good with it.
But I'm sure, you listen
But there
here.
is
Don't be
parking
nothing
as an
to it,
issue
but-
at that voting precinct at
I
the
won't
church.
know unless I find out.
Yeah. It's-
All right.
there's something.
So this, as you recall, this is our proposed CIP, and it is, what's the word, fluid, is that the right word? Fluid. It
Yes,
can be
sir.
changed, but this is our starting point for our CIP plan. So the chair entertain a motion to approve as presented, and of course, we'll monitor as we go along and make any adjustments as necessary.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we accept the CIP as presented, which can be changed.
There's a
Second.
Motion and second, we approve the tentative CIP. You know, thank the committee for working on us and making the adjustments that we recommended, and of course, that's, Liberty County is a growing place, so I'm sure there'll be some further changes as we move along.
Yes, sir.
All in favor, show of hands, please. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mathis.
Thank you.
Mr. Long, they've been calling your name already, so you may as well come on and
All right.
speak for yourself.
You got no, okay,
Well-
now, see.
First thing, being a small business, thank you for the small business
Thank you.
We appreciate
Commissioner
that.
Thrift ran one for how many years?
43,
43 years, too. Yeah.
That's right.
glad to retire.
We've been 24. That's how long we've been in
You'll
business.
make it.
So, I'll try to be brief on mine tonight as well. I'm not gonna hit every single one that's on the list, but, one of the things, Claudia Lane Water System, that's getting closer to finished. So that's under, construction. The Islands Highway Box Culvert, bids open on April 30th, so that'll be a big thing. We've got the, FEMA funding that we want to use from that. The sidewalks on Elam and Wyndham are moving along. I didn't go out there this past week to see if they got started on a pipe yet. They started on a pipe?
No, they have not,
I
but
didn't
they,
think so. Yeah.
they did take out the tree.
My inspectors didn't poke a inspection report under my nose this week, so I didn't think that they had. But we are out there, pretty much when they're out there, we're trying to catch up on them and make sure everything's going well.
Right, but the tree is gone.
But the tree is gone.
The tree is gone.
And the stump comes out when.
No,
the
the
pipe's
stump is gone too.
Something's good.
There
That's
we go.
good.
I saw that today. He was out there working.
I'm glad.
Trina,
Ready for that stuff to be
if you will, since talking about that, I think I mentioned to Commissioner Frazier and Joey, the sidewalk on Windhaven is about done. They're almost out to Veterans Parkway. Tell the citizens how you decide on which side of the street to place the sidewalk. That's what they quiz me on. I really don't know how that works. So if you will share that with them as educational.
Each road is a little different. So you look at where the end trips are, you know, when I say trip, where is somebody going? Okay, where would somebody be walking to? So you try to look at where people are going, what you're trying to accomplish, and then you look at which side of the road that you have to work with, and you kind of look and say, if your left side of the road works, you got less impediments, you know, you'd have fewer driveways, you have fewer crossings, you know, whatever, what makes the best economical sense to put the sidewalk, a lot of times drives which side of the road you're on. Other times it's just, okay, we need to be on this side of the road, this is where we're gonna be. So it really gets to be economical. We did look at like Demer Street and, you know, all the way down where Justin lives, and that has roadside ditches that you have to convert to curb and gutter to be able to add the sidewalk within the right-of-way that you have. Then all of a sudden your cost becomes extreme. So a lot of it is, you know, the two quick answers are trips, where's everybody going, and two, expense, how much it costs.
Trent, Mr. Chairman, I was presented with that same question, and I told them on Windhaven that's where all the cul-de-sacs are on that side, that it's more houses on that side.
Serves more people.
But I mean, that was before you just gave the right answer.
But that was a good answer.
But that's what I thought. I mean, because, I mean.
Yeah, you're right. The cul-de-sacs on that side of the street.
Coming in from Veterans, the right side is just straight.
Yeah.
Coming in from Veterans, the left side, you got
Several cul-de-sacs.
several cul-de-sacs. Yeah. I'll stick with my answer on that one. I'm not the engineer, but that's what I told him.
Well, we do make mistakes. Sometimes we choose the wrong side of the road.
Well, you chose the right one, because cul-de-sacs on that side.
I'll sell you that answer, though.
All right. Made some pretty significant improvements on the easements for the water system east of the railroad. We do have one person that said absolutely not, he's not signing, so we're probably gonna have to get an appraisal for his piece to see what we need to do.
Where's that, Trent? I'm sorry.
This is the water system west of the railroad track.
Okay.
And we're focusing heavy on the side between McIntosh Lake Road and where we're connecting, where the big asphalt millings are, on the other side of McIntosh Mountain.
The person who is saying no, does that commissioner not have a rapport with them?
I don't know. I doubt it, so.
You think that no means no?
I think their no means no. I just think they're not interested in anything related to government, so.
Okay.
I don't think it's anything that we've done.
Don't
I
tread
think it's
on me.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
All right.
But actually, making good progress on that. I hope to have a couple of large areas within the next week. Then I think probably this time next month, what we need to do is kind of sit down and have a few minutes that I show you what pieces we're missing, and then we can decide what kind of action we may want to take. Because, you know, pretty shortly, we're going to need to be put up against, need to get this thing in the ground so that we can spend the funds within the time we have the funds available. Okay? Limerick Road overlay and repair. We're trying to get that wrapped up so we can get that back out to the contractors. Using some of the LMIG money. I'm trying to hit our last year's LMIG. I'm trying to get that package put together. And then I wanted to talk about a couple of roads, and I don't have it in your packet, and I kind of wanted to see which way you wanted. We have an offer from Department of Transportation for additional money for striping, about $100,000 worth of striping, and extra LMIG, where we'll get about $500,000 worth of LMIG. And of course, we got to have 30% match that goes around with the $500,000. So got to come up with $150,000 of our own to do that. So last time we pretty much split the LMIG money 6 or 7 ways. I can't remember exactly how we did that. So if you have ideas of what you'd like to see, I'll send you out a list. I do have a list. And actually, I had it on the back of my presentation when we were talking about water and sewer at the retreat. And so there is a list that's on the back of that. I'll try to send those out to you that gives you a list of some priority streets that you may want to consider. Now, obviously, which roads you choose is up to you. But I'm just offering those up so that you have some ideas of where to start.
Yeah, send your recommendations forward. Certainly we'll look at it and we'll
Yes, sir, I'll be
discuss it.
glad to do that.
But you being the SME, send your recommendations, then we'll take it from there.
Yes, sir. I'll be glad to send those out to you.
A lot of times we base ours on community.
That's right.
Input.
There's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah.
There is a lot to be said for that.
The piece of property you're talking about there on the west side of the railroad track that you're not getting easement from, is that what you're saying?
Well, we're gonna have to figure out something. I'm gonna have,
That though?
yeah, it is. It's on the east side of the railroad tracks.
Oh, it is. It's
No,
on,
no, I'm sorry. It's on the west side of the railroad tracks, and it's actually one of the tracks that's, where the old Southern Baptist office was there?
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's the one to the left. 1 or 2 to the left. It's right in that area.
Well,
I'm remembering it on in my mind where the map was.
let's me and you go down there and look at it. You show me where it's at. I believe we, you had somebody down there trying to sign the easements.
Andy's been down there a lot, and Lamar Tillman have been down there a lot.
Right.
So I've been shooting double guns. I've got Andy Mott going out there a lot, and I got Lamar going out there and trying to catch people. And
Well, let's me and you go look at it and see, because there may be an option to go around it. I mean,
Okay.
we can look at everything. See, I just inherited that. Now, I guess that used to be Marion's, didn't it?
Yes, it was.
Marion, you didn't make them all mad before I got out there, did you?
I tried to, so you could catch hell.
I have,
But you didn't get the road paved out there before you took it from
That's
me?
my job.
But Trent,
we got some work to do out there in some places, but I mean, the water situation is important, and we can't just,
Oh, yes or no. I'm not trying to just stop right there. We got to take some sort of action.
right, we can do that without any problem.
Yes,
I
sir.
think we can make that work. Let's just go look at it. I mean,
I'll be
that's
gl-
what we're here for. If a problem, let's don't bring it up here and talk about it. Just say, do you know anybody? And we
Oh,
might,
yes, sir.
or Marion might know them, and we can
Which-
talk it out.
Which is
I
the
mean,
question I raised,
Sir?
That's the question I raised earlier. Does someone
Yeah.
have any rapport with these?
Yeah, man, I don't know who it is, and we're not gonna mention it in an open meeting, so.
No, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
but-
I'll get that information over to him.
Trent, Mr. Chair, we got one house down there where you're trying to get the easement at, and where it's flagged at, it's coming up, that water line will be coming probably about 4 feet from her front door.
There's a lady that we did go flag, and we talked to her. Most everybody we were doing that with, yes, it's pretty close. And the reason being is the right-of-way in that area, it's like way over there. It's not up by the road, it's like way back. So, I think in that situation, I think what we got on our plan is to do a directional bore, so I don't have to dig her front yard up when I'm like right there at her front door.
Yeah. About 4 feet from her front, from her
Yeah,
step.
one of the
That's-
edges is pretty close.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If it's the one I'm thinking about, she did sign.
Yeah.
It's the DOT right away that you're saying is,
The DOT is way back.
okay.
It was kind of fun. We had a great conversation. She said, everybody just keeps coming to me every year or so, and they want 10 more feet and 10 more feet and 10 more feet. I was like, yes, ma'am, pretty soon we'll be in your backyard. But we had a really good conversation, and I was teasing with her.
Okay.
So, but yes, sir, we did have good conversation.
I'll hold you to that.
It's already on the plans to be a directional bore under her yard.
Okay.
Trent?
So usually if I make some sort of agreement like that, I go ahead and make sure that I've got it cleaned up on the plans.
Okay.
Trent, on the Claudia Lane water system extension, I got a call the other day. I sent a text to, I think, the chairman, Joey, and Clinton. And one of the guys, Mr. Golden, down there, he was complaining about the ditch since they did the work. And I couldn't go down there that day, and then I had to go to Vidalia today. But I'm going to try to get down there tomorrow and meet with him. But he was saying something about the ditch was, I guess, from the construction or some digging that they were doing down there, that the ditch was, the drainage ditch. And I don't know if he's talking about the big canal with the with the pavers in it. I don't know which ditch he was talking about, but I told him I'll try to get down there. And,
Which Mr. Golden is this?
Fred
Freddie?
Golden, yeah.
Okay.
I'm after the budget workshop tomorrow, I think we should get out by 1. I'm gonna ride down there and try to meet with him, but I didn't.
Well,
I think did Clinton say he had checked on it? Do you know, Joey?
I have not heard about it.
I saw, I think he was sending it to you, but it said, I'll check on it. And I got to thinking, he ain't sending it to me, I ain't got nothing I want him to check on.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I'll send Keith on that in the morning.
Okay, yeah, just
And
see,
I'll let you know
yeah,
something.
and if he go all the way across the canal and see Mr. Golden down there, just kind of tell him that he was checking on something. But
Yes, we know where Mr. Golden lives.
Okay, okay.
We're probably in a group text.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, okay, Trent, back to the striping contract under.
Yes, ma'am. I don't have it on the
LMIG.
report, but yes, ma'am.
I was just wondering, have they started doing any striping yet?
No,
In
ma'am,
the
I
county?
gotta put that out, and I gotta.
Do you
apply
need
for them.
do you have a list of what we wanted here? I
I
thought we
do,
talked
I
about
do
it one
want
time.
your list, and I do
For
have a
striping.
list.
You do
I do have a list, but I do want your list.
Okay.
How's that?
Yeah, well, send out an email to remind us when you send out that
Yes, ma'am.
other one, then we need to give you a list for restriping. And then it says
Yeah.
Hodges Road asphalt paving. Have they been back there? It wasn't but 10,000, but I think 10,876, but I believe,
I don't
know if that
know.
was a match.
That wasn't something that we were doing, so I don't think that's
Hodges
us.
Road, we couldn't have laid asphalt on that for that amount of money. That's a fairly long road.
No. I will, I'll look at Hodges, I'll look at Hodges Road.
And that's on Samantha's financial report. Sales tax 6, road money detail.
Hodges Road. Unless Clinton did something back there.
Well, that could be possible. I don't see where he,
But we hadn't put a contract out to do
okay.
anything on
Well, if
Hodges
you'll
Road.
look into that, then let me know. And then what about Mary Todd Road?
We're working on some easements, and I need to give you a list of a couple of things. I actually talked to a couple of residents Tuesday night that were here for the LCPC meeting, so I think we're making some good progress starting on the easements there.
Okay, okay.
And also, I think at some point next day or two, we could talk about speed humps. Clinton and I talked about speed
Yes,
humps and
on
a couple of
Live Oak
different places that you're interested in.
Okay,
And I will tell you also, and it's not on my report, and I do have the tubes out on Islands Highway. You'd ask about the speed on Islands Highway. He will pick them up tomorrow, and so next week I'll know what the 85 percentile speed is on that, and I can let you know.
Okay.
Trent, can you add me into the email with Commissioner Thrift, please? I have a couple locations.
for the speed
For the
humps.
speed bumps.
I just ask you, commissioners, to please tread carefully when it comes to speed hump, because I'm getting just as many complaints about them as we do get people who appreciate them, so I'm not sure where the
I get
verdict
more
falls on
complaints than I
that.
do requests
I
for
know,
them.
yeah. it's-
And
it's
I know
something
you
else.
guys get beat up both ways. You got somebody saying they
Right.
don't want them, then you got people saying they're speeding and going down the road, you gotta do something, and
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out why would somebody complain about it though? What's the complaint? Were the cars too low?
Inconvenience.
Inconvenience?
Inconvenience.
I think I got one of the lowest vehicles in the city, and I go over it really slow, and I don't have no problem.
I'm also very careful about
I mean, the
speed humps
slingshot
and
is-
making sure I
what
got
else is lower
signs
than
out,
that?
because when I was a young county engineer, county administrator chewed my butt because we had to pay for somebody's mufflers one day.
Mr. Chairman,
So I'm very careful about speed humps.
Yeah, I
Chairman.
mean,
I was trying not to ask you anything today, but what about the grass on Bill Carter Road?
I'm about frustrated with grass on Bill Carter Road. If we don't have something here pretty shortly on the grass on Bill Carter Road, I think we're gonna have to hire somebody and just take the money that we are holding from them for that grassing and use that money to get the grassing put in. Because they got 80% of the grass. We just need the 20% finished.
Right.
So,
Now,
yes, sir. No, I'm with you. And, you know, we got some action one day when they went out and put like the bales of hay on top of it, which didn't really help.
hold it out.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm with you.
All right, one more. This project is in the city of Midway, Love's Truck Stop.
Yes, sir.
And I just happened to see this. The stormwater runoff is go down Dorchester Village Road.
No,
That's what it's saying here.
no, it'll eventually get all the way to the box culvert underneath I-95, where it all goes now. And they haven't finished their plans yet, and so, and actually, I don't get to see those for review until later on, because they go through LCPC. But I'll check on that for you and let you know.
Please do.
Okay?
Because the county don't need to inherit a problem coming from a municipality no more than, we got enough water problem as it is now.
Okay, I can certainly do that. But all our conversations that I've had with their engineers before have been to take that water all the way to Islands Highway. As a matter of fact, we've been dealing with them because they're gonna give us an easement for our drainage off of, Islands Highway when we go that direction. Because we gotta take part of our water from Islands Highway to that box culvert under 95 as well.
One other thing I will say, Trent, Mr. Chairman, I know we've talked about it. The bypass, I'm gonna just mention it one more time, and probably the next time again. 119 being the bypass Hinesville. Don't know who we need to preach to.
We need
But
some,
that's gonna be a death trap
yes, sir.
down 119. Cars coming from Savannah, tractor trailers, Chemtall, Interstate, school buses. They're gonna try to pass as soon as they can, it doesn't matter.
Yes, sir.
So we need to push somebody to look at it being 4-lane as soon as possible.
I'm in agreement.
Actually, the 4-lane, this is part of an infrastructure that's on the back burner. We're talking about making that the bypass, but it's not gonna be able to accept the traffic.
Yes, sir.
So,
No, I understand. And
Okay.
yes, sir, me and Mr. Brown have mentioned that project to most of the congressional delegates and to the district engineer, you know, things that we need to have done on 119. And, you know, it's been in our pitch to the department that we need to do something on it for a number of years now.
like I
So,
said, we
but-
talk about,
So it won't be the first time they heard it from
no,
us.
but like I say, we sit up here and we add this and the infrastructure's not right. We do it, the infrastructure's still left behind. So,
really, Commissioner Stevens, all the new part, I guess, of the 119 is going to do is that traffic is already taking 119. They're just going to have a little bit of a different route from Bacon and Church to 84. But that, I was down there the other day, that they're already using 119.
Right. So if we see the problem now, it's going to be worse later.
And he's right that we've been in touch with everybody. DOT, we even recommend maybe consider even a passing lane, so everybody won't get backed up. So Trent's right. We've been talking to them, giving them a heads up. Even in Hampton, we talked about it too. We're really concerned about 119. You're right, it's a state route, so it's their baby, but Liberty County has made its concerns known about our, I don't want to use the word fear as our expectation are. But even as the community grows, because they're building houses on 119 as you get closer into Riceboro, and they're going to build a truck parking place somewhere off 119. That's what I heard from LCPC, but they're going to apply for application to do so. So long story short, the growth is coming. You're right. You're right.
Growth is coming.
Yeah, it's coming. You're right. And we promised those people we would not have them, inadvertently affected by anything that we can control on 119.
Yes, sir.
Especially as it gets down into the Long Reach area and into Crossroads.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay, that's it for me tonight. I think I've stayed a little longer than you probably wanted me to, but.
No, you did all right tonight, Brad.
Oh, well, good. Thank you. All right. Well, y'all have a wonderful evening.
Thank you,
And
Mr. Trent.
probably at next mid-month meeting, maybe we could take action on what streets to do on the extra LMIG so that I can apply for all that.
Yeah, you still got me on the LMIG. I want some LMIG money and some free money and some whatever money's left out there.
Whatever money I can get.
I got some places down there in that district that hadn't been touched. And I'm gonna fix them, Clint, when he goes by on a motor grader, it's gonna be on the low boy. He ain't got to drive it down the highway.
There you go. That works great. Well, thank you very much.
If you inherited any of the part of the district that I had, you ain't got to pave nothing. All of them already done.
No, I didn't. I know, but there's the McIntosh Lake Road, it's gotta be done.
I don't think I had that one.
John Martin Road, Fraser Martin Road.
Yeah, I didn't have none of them.
Tyson Road, all of them. That wasn't yours, was it?
No. If it was, it'd been paid.
So disappointed.
All right. Thank you again.
Appreciate it.
Were you going to ask me a question, Chairman?
Trent, your report says a sketch has been proposed for Jones Creek and turned in to Joey. Who has that?
Yes, sir. Joey does that. I can send it. You want me to send it
I
out?
think you did send it to him, which is where I first heard about it.
Yes, sir.
But yes, sir, absolutely.
I can go back and send it again tonight if you want me to.
Trying to remember.
But I can get it to you.
Just resend it.
Sure.
I'll resend it.
Resend it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Sometimes we get so many emails.
All right, sir, you're up. Hold on just a minute.
The online. All right. County Attorney, Mr. Kelly Davis, MOU School Zone Camera Program.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Where are you at?
I am at the last dance of my daughter's high school career. So, thank you for letting me call in. But as most of you folks know, we've been working with the sheriff on an agreement that will ensure that all revenues from the school zone camera program are appropriately accounted for and expended. And I've shared that agreement with both the sheriff and the board. And I've spoken with several board members and the sheriff. And to my understanding, I think everyone understands the agreement and agrees with it for the most part. I'll be happy to answer any questions, but, as you recall from the email I sent you early this week, it's really intended to address the few principal concerns that the board's expressed to date. One about the account, and the agreement makes certain that the account that's currently in place will continue, but it will be, which is currently under the name of the county and with the county's EIN number. But going forward, it will be administered like traditional county accounts. And so anytime the sheriff will have need of funds for local law enforcement purposes, he'll make a requisition just like any other department head or constitutional officer. And then those requests will be reviewed and and granted if they're appropriate, if they're consistent with Georgia law and this agreement, which I'm sure they will be. Because one other thing the agreement does is make certain that going forward, the only expenditures which will be allowed are kind of very traditional law enforcement expenditures, for training, for equipment, for vehicles, for facility improvements, those sorts of things. What I refer to as hard cost. Soft costs like community outreach or intergovernmental cooperation, those sorts of things, they won't be eligible for disbursement under this agreement. So that way we can ensure that both the sheriff and the board are fully protected and that, there won't be any questionable expenditures. But I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have to the extent they weren't answered in your email or in the agreement.
Questions for the attorney?
No.
I got one. Kelly, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
In the past, with the expenditures and the disbursement of the funds, have there been anything done illegal?
I'm not aware of any such expenditures. Of course, I haven't carefully examined the record, but I think like you folks, I'm aware of a couple expenditures which the board had questions on, and I think I've already by email given a rationale for one of those. And so, to my understanding, I'm not aware of any inappropriate expenditures, but public relations regarding one of the expenditures I think was kind of I guess probably inartfully done. And so, but going forward, we won't have to worry about those sorts of things because the future expenditures will be entirely legitimate and without question because, like I mentioned, they're going to be very traditional expenditures. So, but no, I'm not aware of any such expenditure, Commissioner Stevens.
Thank you.
Let's move forward, Board, who will. Our attorney has worked hard on this, and it reaches the, at this time, what's the word, by consensus, the commission has, this is where we want to go with this program. It is a fairly new program. And there may be a time to come back to revisit it. But this is what we have now. I think it's a good document that we can all start to abide by.
Mr. Chairman, I did have a question. In paragraph 2.
Yes, ma'am.
Or page 2. Yes. In the past, I know this program has been out maybe a year and a half, 2 years.
Yes, sir.
Before, was there an agreement with any, it's in that one line, it says, which shall be subject to regular review and audit by the county's financial personnel and accountants. So in the past couple of years, it has not been audited?
I might defer to Joy about that, but to my understanding, Commissioner Thrift, it hasn't been audited because it hasn't been, I guess, regarded as a traditional county account. But that's one of the benefits of the agreement. Going forward, it will be subject to audit. And of course, there are a lot of other controls that have been in place. Like I mentioned, this account will be treated just like any other account. So once a requisition is made and approved, checks will be issued. There won't be any debit or other transaction cards that are linked to the account. So it'll be a very traditional account, just like any other county account, and the county's name, bearing the county's EIN number, and subject to audit.
Okay, because I just actually got a hard copy of it when I got to the meeting here. So I did have some questions, but I don't know that I've read through all of it to give a fair vote tonight. I know it's something that we had asked for, and then you're not here in person. And then
Yes,
in
ma'am,
that
I
same
apologize. We worked through it as quickly as we could, but
As
we
quickly
had to
as you
get
could?
the input of a number of folks.
Did you say as quickly as we could?
Yes, he could.
Yeah, we worked through it as quickly as we could, but this is an agreement where we had to get input from, I'll say, both parties. So it took a while to work through to make sure we had, one, identified all the concerns of the board, but, the concerns of the sheriff as well. And so we did our best to fashion an agreement that addressed the concerns of everyone. And I think we have.
Okay. In that same paragraph, it says, county to determine compliance with this agreement. Who would that person be? This
Well,
is
first
county.
I should make clear, I think in paragraph 1, it makes clear that the sheriff is solely responsible for ensuring compliance with the expenditures. So, he is on the line, on the hook, to make sure that all expenditures comply with not only Georgia law, but with this agreement. But the county has the opportunity and the right to review those expenditures. Every time he makes a request, he has to stipulate what the purposes of the request is and how the funds will be expended and the amount and who the receiving party will be, just like you would with any other requisition. And so if the county decides to review that, and if they determine no, it's not in compliance with the agreement, for example, it's not a hard cost that I mentioned earlier, the county is free to deny the request. But I think all the going back and forth recently, I think everyone, both the county and the sheriff, they have a very good understanding of what's to be requested and what's eligible for expenditure and what's not. So I don't see that as a problem, because rightfully so, Commissioner. I think some of the board members might have been concerned, especially with PR releases recently. Yeah. But that's really the whole purpose of this agreement, is to make sure that we have no more of those future misunderstandings. So it's a traditional account. It has very traditional controls. And so I don't anticipate any sorts of circumstances like that occurring again.
Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
so the county has the right to deny the request if it's not compliant, but, we're not the ones who are ultimately responsible for it. The sheriff is the one who's on the hook for ensuring compliance.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate Kelly's work on this. But when I got the email yesterday, and this is not really questions that, but I will send Kelly some questions that I do have. Yesterday when I read the MOU, I was excited about it because it did address things. It brought the oversight of the account back to the county, and it talked about that we being the governing authority, and it made me think that that's where it should have been all along. And to make a correction like that, it seemed like that was right and or wrong. That it shouldn't have never been where it was, but now it is where it needs to be. And the fact that we can review the requests, that we can decide, this board out in public, whether or not to fund those requests, with a vote and according to policy. And I think that makes it good. That's where it should have always been, but for some reason it wasn't. And for the past 2 years, so we got that now, and it's long overdue. But I went back and in Kelly's summary, there was some stuff in because I read the attachment first, and then when I read the summary, I had some questions that Kelly, that I'll send you in an email. And Joey, I would like for you to get me a copy of the document for the SRO program and the CHAMPS program, because there's a possibility that these programs could be funded from this account, and I just want to kind of know more about those programs to make sure that law enforcement and the safety initiative is covered, whenever a request such as that come. And but also last week when I made my statement, I had requested that along with bringing the account back over, that we look at the possibility of reviewing the expenditures. And I don't know if we need to get Malden and Jenkins to look at it, or if we could just form a committee, maybe with Mr. Mosley, maybe Ms. Richardson from Finance, and maybe a representative from the Sheriff's Office, just to look at the expenditures that have taken place so far. And that way we'll have a better account before we assume full control of this account. And, so with that being said, as well written as this MOU is, and it does cover everything, and again, the saving grace for me is that regardless of what comes before us, we'll decide that here in front of everybody, live and in living color. So that takes care of everything. But I think that before we get moving with that, we probably need a little bit more time to work out some of the details and get some of the questions answered, because I really do want to know more about the CHAMPS program and the SRO, and I have a few other questions, Kelly, that I'll send you by email this week. Thank you.
Sure, I'll be happy to answer any questions any commissioner might have. And I should mention the agreement does specifically provide. I mean, this agreement is only good for as long as the commissioners are satisfied with the way the program funds are being administered and expended. If for whatever reason the board decides you're no longer happy with this arrangement, you can terminate it. And then, of course, parties will have to renegotiate, or the matter will have to be brought before the local courts. But it makes clear we're trying to work with the sheriff, but the agreement is only so good as both parties are satisfied with it. So to the extent you become dissatisfied, you're authorized and free to terminate the agreement.
Kelly, I guess I do have one question for you since you're here. On the MOU, can you operate legally without a MOU? Because it seems that we're doing this on the back end as opposed to having it from the start. And I think, if I recall, and y'all could correct me if I'm wrong, we did something similar on the back end for the school resource officer program. That wasn't an agreement in hand. It's like they were operating, and we found out about it, and then we did an MOU. And this red speed thing is kind of falling into the same category that we looking at an MOU now, and this red speed camera thing is over 2 years old. So do you need a MOU from the start, or can you just kind of put one in at any time?
Well, I think with respect to the red speed, the school zone camera program, there was I think a fundamental difference in interpretation of the statute. I think the sheriff and perhaps some other law enforcement agencies around the state, they regard the statute as authorizing the sheriff or the law enforcement agency responsible for the program essentially to hold and administer the funds. So I think it's probably the position of a lot of law enforcement agencies around the state that you don't need an MOU agreement. But of course, the board, I think rightly so, differed on that interpretation with the sheriff. And so I think as an interim accommodation, we allowed the sheriff to administer the funds. My understanding, I think we should have had probably an agreement in place before now. And but I think part of it was we wanted to see how the arrangement would work. And, there were concerns that were raised. And so now we're at a point where we're doing our best to address them and put everything in writing. So, but I think it all arose from that fundamental difference in interpretation of the statute and who is responsible and who's entitled to the funds and who is entitled to administer the funds. That was the big difference, I believe, in this case.
Yeah, well, governing authority to me is pretty cut and dry, but maybe there is a difference of interpreting that. But governing authority here, I always thought was the Board of Commissioners.
Well, no, I don't disagree. As a matter of fact, I think I, wrote an opinion and basically sharing the same assessment. So, but again, that's our interpretation. The sheriff and other law enforcement agencies have different interpretations. And so, of course, whenever you have a difference in local government amongst the constitutional officer and the board, you do your best to resolve the differences. And that's what we've been charged to do. And I think that's what we have done to the best of our ability. And so hopefully this agreement will last and both parties will be satisfied and we won't have to revisit it. But if we do, we can, and we can decide what to do at that point in the future.
Yeah, well, again, thanks, Kelly. Again, this is kind of long overdue, but we do have it. And when you read it from the top left hand to the bottom right hand, it does address things, and it gives us that oversight and that saving grace that in an open setting, every request will come right before us in this room, and we'll vote it up or down. So that's. You can't ask for much more than that. So, I appreciate your help. But I'll submit my questions. Once I get to review the SRO program, that Joy give me a copy of it, and the CHAMPS program, so that I can look at that. Because if a request come from that, and if law enforcement and safety initiative that's the criteria, and if that request falls in that criteria, then, you know, and plus they'd have to come here and get the majority vote, then that would be fine. But I just want to look at that a little bit more before we move on with this memo.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that everybody understands one point. These monies, it's a program that law enforcement agencies around the state and in our county, the sheriff, establish. And revenues from them, as you folks know, are they're restricted. Can only be used for local law enforcement purposes and public safety initiatives. And so, if the sheriff submits a request for us for these hard costs, these traditional law enforcement costs, under the agreement, we're obligated to honor the requisition and give him those funds. But I think I mentioned in my email, the sheriff has pledged his cooperation with the board, and he's obviously willing to identify jointly with the board programs, that fall outside those traditional purposes, more kind of public safety initiatives, and work with the board to fund those without having to use tax revenue. And I think a good illustration of that is the Tyler Technologies software that the local courts as well as law enforcement are switching to. The initial cost of that is over $800,000, and we would normally have to use taxpayer revenue to fund those costs. But the sheriff has pledged to use funds generated from the school zone camera program, in excess of $800,000 for that initial Tyler Technologies acquisition. So I think working together, the sheriff and the board, they can probably identify worthy projects like that and save the taxpayers some money. That's the hope in any event.
Mr. Chair.
Kelly, you said a mouthful, and it's been about 8 minutes, best I can count, and we've been waiting for 2 years to be told that it looks like what we're seeing here is it was all left up to us to make an agreement. But I think the easiest thing to have done on this would have been walk in here and explain it. Now, some people he might have explained it to, but I didn't hear nothing about it until people got caught, and then I followed up with them. But right now, I want to know that we have what's been collected and what's been paid out. And Joey, how about the 5% on speeding tickets that goes to the different places? Is this in this?
Not subject to this, no, sir.
It's not subject?
If you're talking about the fine set aside, this isn't a traditional fine. It's a civil penalty. And so the law made it that, so it's not subject to the takeouts or the holdings.
But why would they have done that? There was a reason for that.
The legislature wrote the law. I really don't know.
Okay. Well, then that's another question, Kelly, that I would want to know why the 5% is not taken out. I mean, when the judge, he's got to hear the case sometimes, and sometimes it's just sent, mailed in. And that's one of the things I wanted to find out. And of course, I know the chairman here, my good friend, he's wanting to try to get this thing done, but
yes, sir.
I don't think that, we can't have a few days to look at it.
Sure.
As I've stated to you, that I have, I've been through something like this before, and I'm not gonna go through it again. But I'm gonna have, I want the time to dissect it myself. I mean, to get something and not have it 24 hours and make a decision on it, that's not like deer hunting. When the deer comes across the road, you shoot him or let him go. That's the fastest I like to act. So, Mr. Chairman, you know how I feel about it. I say let's take a little bit of time and breathe and decide what needs to be best. And we can do it in executive session, or we can do it somewhere else. But it has been a long time coming, and it should have never reached this point. Never should have.
Yeah, no, that's entirely understandable. And of course, there's some things that are beyond the scope of this agreement. What the legislature did and how the program was established, that's beyond our reach. But I know a lot of citizens share your same concerns. But one of the reasons that this is an administrative or civil fine and not a criminal penalty is because, as you mentioned, you don't have a right to trial with limited exception, or confront your accuser as you would with normal criminal proceedings, because it is an automated system. So that's the reason I think the legislature made it a civil fine rather than a criminal penalty. And with respect to prior expenditures, this agreement does not address that. So if the board wants to more carefully examine prior expenditures, you're free to do that. I think Joey probably has a fairly comprehensive schedule of those expenditures, and to the extent any aren't clear, of course, we can ask the sheriff to provide additional detail. So, but those two things aren't addressed by the agreement, of course.
Yeah, it would be great if a couple of us at one time, Mr. Chairman, could sit and, Kelly's beating somebody, that we could sit down and talk to him. I mean, he's not in all this, is he?
No.
But I mean, let's each one of us get a firm commitment on what's got to be done. I mean, that's the simplest thing to do. I mean, when we did, the collections for state court and putting people on probation, judge presented it, we understood it. But it's not that I understand what needs to be done, and the state understood how important it was, or they wouldn't have never put them in front of school zones. Now, we do have some school zones that don't have them, but, I don't know the reason for that. You know what the monies should be spent for, and I just want to make sure, number one, the monies have been spent for. I mean, I can't believe nobody up here sitting has said they knew what the money was going to be spent for, because it was never, ever brought to this board to say, these are what I'm going to spend the money for. I want y'all's blessings.
Yes, sir.
That's just the way I'm looking at it. It's no different than our road superintendent going out there and putting in a culvert pipe and him saying it's $180, and he tells that he's got $20, and at the end of the year he's having a party, and we ask him where he gets the money from, and he said, well, this is how I got it. Well, that might have been okay with some people, but it ain't okay with me. So that's the way I feel about it. I appreciate your time on it. I know I burned your phone up, email and all, but I just want to make sure it's done right. And the board has got to come to a consensus. I mean, I'm just that way about it.
Commissioner Stevens.
Mr. Chairman, I'm through.
Yes, sir. If anyone has any questions, feel free to call or email, and I'll do my best to
Hold on a
answer
minute,
any
Kelly.
questions you might have.
Kelly, hold on a minute. Commissioner Stevens has a comment or a question or whatever.
Kelly, you are operating on the OCG guidelines, OCGA guidelines, correct?
Yeah. This program is not a local initiative. I mean, it's authorized by the sheriff and established by him. But you're correct. This is all being done pursuant to state law, right? Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, and I'm gonna say it one more time. If we're gonna sit here and scrutinize one constitutional officer, and we have others in the county, we need to sit up here and quit discriminating against this one person. I said it.
Yeah, all right.
Mr. Chair, again, just like I said at our last meeting a week ago, Mr. Davis, I have some additional, questions about the verbiage of this MOU. So I will send you an email to get your opinion on it. If you're still there.
Kelly?
Kelly, you still there?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you, Joey. I apologize.
No.
Oh, it was me, Justin. I was just saying, I just have some questions about some of the verbiage whenever you're dealing with some of the state statutes and codes. But I will just email it to you to get your opinion on it from a legal standpoint.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
That'll be fine. Yes, sir.
I need to get a consensus from the board on where we are. The agreement that our attorney has sent would let us have something in writing as a MOU. And certainly I heard there are questions from a few of you that need to get answered. And Kelly, if I'm wrong, you correct me, because I've already been accused of being wrong following your advice. I don't know how that can happen when you're trying to follow the advice of your county attorney. But to me, there's two options. Accept the agreement, once again, kind of a fluid document, and get that questions answered. I do like Commissioner Gillert's recommendation, maybe a subcommittee, to look at. That's not a bad idea. Somebody from the sheriff's office, our finance director, and somebody from the.
Mr. Mosley.
Mr. Mosley. All right. All right. I think that's a good idea.
And no commissioner?
Ma'am?
Just the admin. I think that's the best.
Admin.
Admin, no
Admin
commissioner.
only.
Since
Okay.
we got to make a clean
Admin only.
Just
decision.
admin, okay.
Admin.
Admin
Mhm.
only.
Okay.
A neutral party, I mean, that's
I
what I'm
agree.
saying.
Okay,
I mean, we got to vote on it. Let's let a neutral party look
that's
at it.
right. I want to make that
And
clear.
Miss-
Admin only.
Chair, will be in a motion to those?
Well, I do have one more question, since it seems like we're gonna take our time to review it. Since we're gonna do that, what do we do during this current time? I don't know if that's a question for Mr. Davis or Mr. Brown.
Actually, the money is remaining in the account with new signatories effective tomorrow.
Okay. So that means none are going out.
That's correct.
Right.
After tomorrow, I mean, I would, yeah.
Right. Well, I guess that additional question I have is, how about money going in?
Money will continue to go in. That's one reason to keep that account, because it's already set up with Red Speed. It's an automatic deposit that's done monthly on money received. So after they retrieve their portion of the administrative fee, the rest automatically goes in that account.
Right.
And that's an account that the board,
It's under our NOAA.
that we have? Okay.
Yes, sir, that's
Okay,
correct.
okay.
Mr. Brown, correct me, that was the account that the past CFO and you had helped them to establish, correct?
Not me, but it's the former CFO, yes.
Former CFO, okay. All right.
So the credit cards have been rendered? Or
Actually,
as of tomorrow?
they've been turned off. That's correct.
Okay.
They've actually already been turned off.
All financial oversight is here with the board of.
Effective tomorrow, only way a check can be issued out of that account is for the chairman and my signature to be on it, just like all other warrants.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, do you see it being an issue for us to take time to, I mean, I read a little bit of the body language that everybody wants to get done with it, but I want it to be gone as good as anybody else does. But I'm gonna tell you something, I want it to be right.
I agree.
I mean, I don't want this to be a black mark or any kind of mark on the board of commissioners, the county, the sheriff's department, I don't even know who Red Speed is. I thought he was a boxer, but I found out that was wrong. He's a wrestler. But anyhow, I just want to make sure that everybody's, and I heard questions that you had, Commissioner Thrift, that, you know, I completely missed. And I want to make sure that I go through it and look at it. And Kelly, you still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you'll be available next week that we can get some questions and answers from you?
Yes, sir, anytime.
Okay.
But Mr. Chair, I guess this question is for Kelly as well. Okay, I understand money's still coming in, and I understand no money is going out. But, well, I guess let me clarify my question. Will the cameras still be active during this time, even if we don't have an MOU in place?
Yeah, you actually don't need an MOU for them to be in place. There was all that's required. The Board of Education actually generates the program. So no speed zone camera can be put up in the state of Georgia except by Board of Education request, normally done by the sheriff to the local Board of Education. So the Board of Education is actually one that requested the program through GDOT, and GDOT approved it to the Board of Education. So unless the Board of Education cancels that request with GDOT, the cameras will stay in effect. Yes, sir.
It don't make-
I got even more questions now. Kelly, I will, instead of me emailing you, I'll stop by the office.
Well, listen,
I'm just,
No, go ahead.
I'm really confused now.
I am too. If it goes to the Board of Education, why don't the money go to them?
Well, it
It gets so many people
can,
involved.
it can, but
understand
the state law says it shall go to the governing authority
Which is us.
of the county.
Right.
And basically, the county shall determine how those funds are spent in compliance with the law.
Yeah, well, actually, that's the kind of gray area. You know, the statute, I think the specific language is it goes to the governing authority of the law and a law enforcement agency that's responsible for the program. And so that's where I think some local law enforcement around the state has, interpreted that to mean, in this case, the sheriff being a constitutional officer, he is the governing body of himself. In other words, but again, I think I mentioned I don't agree with that interpretation, but that's where we are. We're trying to reach agreement with the sheriff and the board and address all the board's concerns. And I think when you read the agreement, at least I've done my best to address all the concerns that have been made known to me. But this week and the coming week, if you have any questions or if I've overlooked something, feel free to bring it to my attention, and I'll do my best to address it.
Yeah, because if I go online and look some of this up that you're saying, it's not matching. So I may need, maybe there's something, I'm not an attorney.
Yeah, we can
but
give you a
I
copy of the code
I need it
section.
in layman's terms,
Yeah, we
to
can-
some extent.
Yeah, the code section is pretty clear, so we can give you a copy of the code
Yeah.
section.
And if I will email again the memo that I shared with you some weeks ago, and I think it had attached a copy of the code section. So if you want to dig through your emails, you might can find it, but I'll resend it again tomorrow.
So,
Chairman, will you accept a recommendation or a motion? I'll make a motion that let the review committee, which consists of an unbiased, unvoting group of people, and they'll be designated, and I want them all to understand that they're not reporting to us. They're going in there and finding out what's there. And let's plan on, if we even got to call a meeting to make this thing, I don't know if it'll ever go away, but I mean, let's just try to make sure that we do the right thing, and I mean the right thing, and move on with it. Because it's been, what is it, nearly 3 years?
Since March of 2020.
That's my motion, to table it until the review committee has been involved, to let the questions that's been asked tonight and any questions that they might have.
That's a motion.
That's my motion.
And that's fine with me, Commissioner Walden. I'll be happy to work with anyone and answer any questions that anyone might have.
there's a second to that motion.
Second.
Motion second. Now, I feel there's some discussion of Commissioner Thrift.
Yes, sir. Oh, go ahead. I can take it with you.
Okay.
We can go ahead and ask call for a motion.
All right. Any further discussion?
Sorry, will you repeat the
Yes.
motion?
He made the
Was
motion that we,
to
they said
table?
that we table it and get.
Yes, sir.
and get the
Okay, that's
questions
what I
answered.
want. Okay, I agree.
Get the questions answered. Did I get it right? Table it, get the questions answered.
Table it, get your,
The subcommittee.
get the people that's gonna look at it, and that we can, I think the board ought to name one. I think, even the sheriff might want to name one. I don't know, but we gotta get our arms wrapped around this thing. Just going in there and voting it again, I don't, it's never been voted on before, so let's do it and do it right, and then they can bring up their findings to us.
We bring it back the first Tuesday in May.
Well, at the first Tuesday in May, or until there's a,
I don't think it warrants a special.
okay, well,
special-
that'll be fine then.
Yeah, I don't think it warrants a
First
special.
Tuesday in May.
Yeah. But we kind of said who, Mr. Mosley, someone from the sheriff's office, and our finance director?
And Ms.
Yeah.
Richardson, yeah.
Okay.
I think that should cover it. I mean, the fact that the expenditures were, from the sheriff's office, I think having someone there to explain what this one went to would help Samantha and Joe, if that's the committee.
All right. Sounds good to me.
I think it would be helpful to them.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion presented, show of hands, please. Opposition? One opposition, the motion passes. All right.
Mr. Chairman, just to be clear on the committee assignment, they're to review the expenditures to ascertain exactly what they were used for in detail.
That's what I heard, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, thank you. We will
And,
get through it.
Mr. Brown, if, and you know, to say that this was spent for, there should be some supporting documentation, for those expenditures.
Have you read the report? I mean, if I ask you right now what the money can be spent for, you know everything it can be spent for? Everything?
I think that the way the code section reads, it can be for a law enforcement or other public safety purpose. And that would be up to the governing body of the county to determine whether that meets the requirement or not, whatever's proposed.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
All right.
All right, good. All right,
Okay, thanks.
Liberty County Health Department, Mr. Holton. Kept you for a while, my brother.
He ain't got no but time.
Got nothing but time. I appreciate you, Mr. Chairman, Board of Commissioners. We're really, here tonight, we're completing, or actually have completed the documents for the new Liberty Health Department, and we're ready to go out to bids. I've sent an RFP, a request for proposals. I mean, Joey's got that to review, and we've set dates, or set some tentative dates, subject to your approval, and then we'll be ready to move forward. So I did bring some images. I think you've seen these before. Maybe not these that are. We did make some adjustments. We put some more brick window surrounds around these and kind of made it a little bit more kind of like the library, you know, with the brick surrounds. A couple of different images for the front of the building. What I didn't bring are the interior images. What I didn't even think about that when I put this together, because this is this did go before LCPC design review and was reviewed and approved by City Council a couple of weeks ago. So that's what we were going through that process. And these are some of the images from that. The site plan is virtually the same as it was before. We have, you know, added a sign to the front, a low sign with the digital reader board. Site circulation is pretty much the same, other than this exit here is two-way now. That's one of the LCPC requests. I'll move to the, can't really see this that well. We did have a rendered version of this, but it didn't really show the plantings very well. But I wanted to show this just to show that we are, you know, that site's being pretty much cleared. There's not really specimen trees on that site. So we are going to be replanting, and we're going to be replanting by the ordinances, and we are providing buffers between the buffer plantings and a buffer fence between the residential and the building, all along here and this side here. So that will be buffered. There's also an old city lane that also creates another buffer that runs right here. You can barely see it behind these residential properties. Nothing really that you can see from this plan has changed from the layout. We still have the same general areas of family planning here. This is the WIC side, environmental health, the care center, and then this is all the support. You know, of course, one of the big things we are doing is they're taking all of that storage they have out there, the storage buildings outside, and bringing it inside the building. So, yes,
Joey, when we looked at this one time, you and I did, we had determined that we needed to have a turning lane. Is that going to be from Layton Street all the way down to the National Guard Army? I mean, that's not.
Here, let me. No, sir. I'll let Mr. Holton talk that if he wants to, but it's you'll have a turn. You'll have a decel lane.
Yeah.
It won't go all, it doesn't need to go all the way to Layton, but it'll come about where that old easement is through the property there.
But will it, that's what I'm saying, will it go all the way to the National Guard?
Oh, no,
Entrance?
no. Well, you'll have the decel lane on this side, and then somewhat of an acceleration turnout on this side, but it won't go all the way down the National
But
Guard.
that, the A-cell's not
There's no
required.
option of going out the back.
There is an option of going out the back. You'll come out Layton Street, that's what David was saying.
Right, but
Yes, sir.
the other way,
Up there.
to keep from jamming up that corner right there with people, wanting to make a right turn, I knew that we had talked about, it may be to where that we can get them to go the whole distance down, but if it won't work, it won't work.
The other thing, that what you're seeing here is an area, as you recall, y'all wanted to try to relocate the solid waste recycling that's down at the old hospital site. And so that'll go in that back portion.
Right.
And they will access that through the security of the recreation yard. We'll do some rearrangement for the material storage down there, and that'll move Brenda and those over there.
And that'll be a secured,
Yeah,
it'll be fenced off.
Well, I don't know, I think, I don't know that turning lane, if you get more than two people going in there, one right behind another, and where are we gonna be at? We're gonna be jammed up?
Where?
Are you talking about?
Yeah, right there, when
Right
you're
here.
coming in, if you turn to the right, are you gonna be jammed up as far as, if there's two cars going into, at that particular spot? I mean,
Well, it's continuous traffic. This right here does not stop, so when you come in, you immediately go one way or the other and keep going around the site. There's no stop there, so.
nothing, I just seen the little island, and that's what I was worried about.
Oh, right here?
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a right in here, and you can go around this way, you can turn and go this way, you can come in here and drop off, but either way, we're moving that traffic out of the way.
Okay, and one other thing and this is just some things that I remember, Joey, we talked about the retention pond and the drainage going.
Right.
Where's that water gonna be at?
It's going, we've talked with the property owner in the back that you're thinking of.
Yeah.
And they are okay with us helping to dilute some of that water with stormwater, and that's where it'll be in that
Okay.
basin back there.
That's
And
a
it'll be
very
on-
big positive.
It'll be on this side, right?
It'll be directly in the back.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I think one of these shows the drainage, yeah, there it is.
There it is, yeah.
You can see it going straight out the back there. So that keeps you from having to have underground drainage storage, which is very costly right now.
They were pretty excited about trying to get some infusion of water into that pond because it's so stagnant. So they were very, very willing to.
Just to refresh my memory, we voted to purchase it, but what was the dollar amount on that? You don't remember?
I don't right off the top of my head. I can get it to you though.
Okay.
I can look it up in the morning and get it to you, sure will.
Joey, when you say infusion of water, the pond, you talking about the old Boy Scout pond?
Yeah. We met with, we sat down with them, we talked with Paul before.
I mean, is that still, the Boy Scouts still go
It
out there?
is, they lease that from Liberty Independent Troop.
Yeah,
I understand it's a stagnant pond.
It is a stagnant pond.
yeah. But I know the
I
city
never caught a
has,
fish, man. I always thought it was stagnant.
further down, behind Regency and what's that, Heritage Street in that area, the city has some retention, upstream of Tupelo and Peacock Canal.
We're matching up with that. That's the reason we got with Paul, is actually, we'll help detain some water that's already kind of going that way in the structure that's gonna go in the pond.
Okay.
And it'll slow release then, when it reaches a certain level, over to that area that you're
Yeah,
talking
okay.
about, yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
All right, there's just a few more images around the building. This is like one of the entrances, care center entrance, the rear of the building. And then this is another shot of the front. I just wanted to show the sign in this one. So we have, like I said, full set of construction drawings ready to go.
Ready to hit the streets?
Good,
as they say?
ready. I'm ready, they're ready. Mr.
Great
Chairman.
job.
I will say that your staff was very, very gracious with their time. I know one meeting we had was like eight hours long in order to get all these questions answered. But it's,
You wore them down.
they hung right in there, I tell you, they did.
did their
And we had
homework, for
a
sure.
couple of them that were like that, and they did a very, very good job of conveying the needs. So I really think it's going to be
They've been great to work with through the whole process. It's been a role model project to get done. It really has been. We appreciate their efforts, and we look forward to this hitting the streets. And then tentative.
So our tentative dates right now that are on the proposal are advertising next Wednesday. So the dates I have on there right now, advertising next Wednesday, and then opening bids on the 28th of May. And then having a award at the mid-month in June.
Wow,
Wow.
that's great.
Sounds great.
Been a long time in the making, but we finally gotten there.
So, Mr. Chair, I just have a question. To my fellow commissioners, when it's asked upon me to bring more to the table about my family entertainment and everything, is this what you all are asking me to do, Mr. Chair? I mean, Commissioner Stevens?
What size of building you want?
I get with you.
All right.
Let's rock.
I'll get you.
That's all I
I'll
wanted
get
to
you
know.
set up.
Thank you.
I just encourage you to work with your committee.
Work with that
Don't be a
committee.
one-man.
I'm going to work, but we will, me and my committee will be getting in contact with you.
Work with your
Thank you, sir.
committee.
How much
That's what I wanted to
does the
hear.
state put into this? About ARPA? Would you use any
ARPA is,
Did you
yes.
use more?
How much is it gonna be?
I think you had $1 million in ARPA funds pledged to the project,
Okay.
wasn't it?
I thought we had some more. I mean,
Yeah, we'll look back and be sure, but ARPA did put money in there.
do I?
ARPA has got money.
Okay.
Well, you allocated ARPA money.
Then the
for it.
health board's
Yep.
money.
The health board has money for
Mm-hmm.
furnishings.
Yeah, health board's actually doing the internal stuff.
All right, Mr. Chairman, need a motion to approve the bid process? Is that what we're?
Put it on the street.
for
That'll be
bid
great.
process for Liberty County Health Department.
Second.
In a second, we proceed.
Yay.
Is that-
We'll get it on the street.
All in favor, show
Oh, I
of
was gonna
hands.
say, like.
It's flash forward.
There we go.
Been waiting so long.
I'm gonna go do it right now.
Got it?
And,
Thank you, Mr. Holton.
hey, David.
Thank y'all.
David, I promise not to ever call you Craig again, so. I got you.
Yeah, that's been weighing on me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, hey, I'm good now, I'm good now.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Property and casualty.
Property and casualty insurance.
Oh, another long-winded speech.
Mr. Bobby.
Well, at least
Be
I'm in
nice.
person tonight.
Be nice to come. Be nice.
That's right.
You can see I really do have legs. It's good to be here. This is my son Brandon.
Hey, Brandon.
He's close by. He's the brains behind the operation.
All right.
And
Commissioner Walden,
Yeah.
you see those boots?
Brandon.
yeah,
I like his boots. There you go.
see, he's easier to look at.
Just like that,
He's got the high dollar boots.
Call the order, call the order, call the order.
All right.
Come, Mr. Bob.
Do you want to?
Well, I'm sure, as you remember, you took time last time, and Bob ran through everything on property and casualty for you. We're going self-insured, proposed to go self-insured this year. So he has locked down the final prices here, and really just a quick overview of 3 or 4 slides is what he's going to go over here, just as a reminder. And then we just need to vote to follow the recommendations if it's good to the board.
That's right. So these are the slides we emailed, right, to
Yes, sir.
them?
These are slides they've actually seen before, yes.
Okay, yeah, and they're the ones we went over last week. So this is a review, and please feel free to interrupt me or ask questions while we're going through this, and it might be easier than waiting until the end. So the first slide we have here, and if you can't read that too well, I've got paper copies. Y'all got them right there, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is where we're coming from, what we had last year, and what has taken us to the self-insurance stage is last year our insurance was $2.5 million, and it was on what we call a deductible basis, which is a lot lower retention, $5,000 deductibles, $25,000 on some, and so that was where we were last year. And if you'll turn the page, this is a proposal on the same terms that we had last year. And you can see that went up to $2.8 million, and that's with the similar deductibles in here and with the same carriers. So that's not the one we're recommending, but I thought it would be a good basis to look at. So if we turn to the next page, I think that deserves more conversation. And the next page is our recommended proposal with Old Republic. And as we mentioned, this has higher retentions, and our intention is to set up a loss fund and to use the amount that we spent last year as a insurance budget, which is about $1 million more than this, and we'll fund that each year. And as we fund that each year, the intent is this loss fund will continue to develop and become self-sufficient. So, well, we'll have to pay our losses out of that, but we intend to put some more risk management into this and to have a good year like we did this year. So, with that said, the deductibles that we mentioned were $100,000 on the general liability, $300 on the automobile, $25,000 on the automobile physical damage, and then your law enforcement and public official are a little bit lower, and it's $75,000 and $25,000. And then our property, you'll recall that we're insuring $25 million limit of the $200 million limit. Last year we insured $100 million limit of the $200 million limit. And we'll talk about that on the next page of our reliance that that would become a FEMA event if it exceeded the $25 million. There's a deductible on the property of $25,000 and 5% per location for wind and hail. Okay, and then the last item on there is the cyber liability, which is exactly the same as last year. And we feel like this is the most comprehensive program on the market for the cyber liability, and we feel like y'all have a good security in place when it comes to the cyber side of the equation. So if you would turn to the next page, this is really an overview that is a little easier to read, and
not quite.
Is it sideways?
Okay, now.
He's
I didn't
making
see
sure
that.
we away.
I'm picking on Mike.
Maybe it's not as easy to read. So the first two columns, the first one's general liability, and you have sovereign immunity for some claims in general liability, recreational tort immunity, sovereign immunity from the state, and we try to rely on that as much as possible when we have these claims. So, but we're still carrying $1 million there. And even if we have a claim, we have the policy set up to take advantage of the tort caps and sovereign immunity. The automobile, there's a $750,000 tort cap in the state. And so we set the limits at 750,000. So we're not spending extra money on limits that we'd never use.
Bob, next question. Were we actually paying out more money than what we needed to pay out over the years?
As far as premiums?
Right.
No, the automobile was the main line, and it was running 125% loss ratio. So we were we were actually to the good on that. We were collecting more than we were paying. So that's what really brought us to this point, because the carriers didn't want to continue under that arrangement. And so you will have some lines where you don't have as many losses, but my general perspective in the industry, I would say as a whole, is that if you have the financial resources and you're large enough to self-insure, you're always going to be better off, even if you have bad claims. And the reason is those bad claims will follow you for 5 years. But if you're self-insuring them and retaining that risk, they follow you for 1 year. And so I think this is a good decision to move in this direction. And we're seeing more and more as prices go through I really didn't go into this last time, but the insurance world right now is upside down. And premiums are going, we think we have inflation at the grocery store, but this is much worse. And the insurance carriers are starting to flatten out a little bit, but they've lost quite a bit of money, and then they just react, and it's an economic cycle, like you see, where the prices go up to a point that it attracts new players. The new players come in, you have more competition, and it drives the prices down, and then it goes in. It's just the only question is, how long is that cycle? The last one was 10 years. But we anticipate this cycle will be a little bit shorter. So the next column, third column, is your property. And like we said, we've got about $200 million in values. We had it at $100 million until we went back out and assessed it all. And we did Joey, we took forever.
Wow. Searching, right.
Went to see everything, and I think we found it all. And so so we ended up with about twice as much in values. And so I recommend, we've talked about this quite a bit, and our recommendation is, and this is fairly standard in the industry, especially when you get to the coastal areas, or if you get into Louisiana, for instance, they all look like this because it costs so much to buy the extra limits. And if you get over 25 million, the probability is it'll be a FEMA event and you'll get reimbursed. So that's our philosophy on that. We pulled out from the self-insurance model the public official liability because we've had good experience. Congratulations. And we were able to get lower deductibles, so we just left it the way it was instead of putting it in a self-insurance model. The law enforcement, it went up, the deductible did, but not to the $300,000 that most people are having to pay, because that's had fairly good experience. But the experience as a whole in the industry, y'all watch TV, and you know what's happened from the law enforcement perspective. They can hardly walk down the street without somebody trying to complain or file a suit about something. So that's what's driving that deductible. And then, of course, the cyber liability that we talked about. So this is our recommendation for your approval. Do y'all have any questions? Any other questions?
Just as a reminder, Bob, and at the bottom, he's got expiring premium 2.534, renewal premium 1.491. What you would actually do, again, and we talked about this, is you'll set up an insurance fund basically inside of your internal budget. We will be sending over to that insurance fund, budgeting this year, 2.534. So we're going to hold steady because what you need to do is build up some capital in that insurance fund to pay losses potentially. And then if you remember over 4 or 5 years, you take a look every year at what the fund's doing to see whether you need to fund it some more or whether you can stay stable at your funding cycle. So it's not really in the first year a move to save money as much as it is to stabilize and hold steady. So that's the plan. I just didn't want that to confuse you and think we were saving, $1 million this year.
So, did you say that was in the budget?
It
That
is.
will be?
It will be. It'll
In
be
the
the same.
current budget
Yes, ma'am.
I have now? It's
Yes,
in
ma'am.
there?
Yes, ma'am. We should be budgeting
I was going to say, that's a lot of money.
we
That's a
should be
lot.
budgeting the 2.534, which is the
But
same
we're
we
only
did
going to
last.
pay it, the premium is only the 1.4. And we're going to, is that
You have-
correct?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. So actually.
Right, the 2 point, yeah.
Yeah, actually, we'll send money from the general fund to the insurance fund each month.
Okay, each month.
1/12 of 2.5.
Okay, 1/12,
And
okay.
so we're stabilizing. You'll have the same budget next year that you have this year.
Well, it's the same from last year, because, we had,
Yeah.
we thought that would only be like one-time hit, or I did.
Well,
That's
no,
why I
it-
increased the budget so much last year.
No, it would be.
Because we
it
found the
would-
liability insurance
Well,
issue.
again, the other option, instead of doing that, is just going back with the renewal and increasing it $300,000 more dollars.
Well, I understand
Yeah,
where
so
you're
we
going with
don't
it,
wanna
but
do that. Yeah.
it hit us hard last year, and it's
Yeah.
going to hit hard this year.
We're trying to stabilize because the market's still climbing. Yes, sir.
Two.
Is there any benefit in numbers of let's just say, are we the only one in Liberty County that's using you, or is the hospital authority, how's that work?
Yeah, I think to get back, yes, so we are, because they go through, actually, I believe, a special insurance for hospitals that they use, a special market. And to answer your direct, there is no power in numbers. What you would do is increase your liability risk and your exposure, so you're better just to handle what you got that you can directly control.
So every time you figure that we hire an employee, until he's acclimated to that job, he's a risk. I mean, all of us are a risk.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I guess as you, right, that's exactly.
Yeah, the more experience they get, the less the risks, I would say, but.
Hopefully, right.
Well, I mean.
You would hope.
I'm just trying to figure out here, we've got the Development Authority, which is a arm of us, and the hospital. And, of course, EMT, they'll fall already under this.
Right, right.
And I just wondered, was there a benefit to having more people involved in this? And if there's not, then my main thing is about the money part. And if it's not, there ain't no need to talk about it no more.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I know you used to have a fleet plan. When you buy trucks, you'd have a fleet plan, and it was cheaper because you had, 18 or 20 refrigerated trailers and trucks. So I just wanted to ask that question. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
That's all the questions for Mr. Bob?
I don't have any.
All right. Chair, entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion we go forward with it, Mr. Chairman.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Second, we go forward with this new plan, hoping that it's gonna work in our favor, a new direction for us.
Yeah.
One that, we need to take at this time because of the expenditures as Commissioner Thrift said, that hit us hard last
sure did.
year.
I would like to say, along with that, I recommend it, and I sure hope we don't have no accidents.
I'll second that.
Or storm. All in favor of the motion, show of hands, please. All right, this motion passed.
Okay, thank you.
Well, from property now to health.
Yeah.
As Matt and Amber are coming up.
It's the insurance
Because
night.
you are. Or Matt is?
Matt,
Okay.
come on, Matt.
This is a new direction also, and it is borne by the same thing, and that is increasing premiums. So before I introduce Matt, Matt is actually with Oak Bridge Insurance Solutions, Matt Henderson. Matt is one that came with us to work with a committee that we did some search. You saw at your planning session what our rates were doing. You know what our rates have done just on a fully self-insured plan. So one of the biggest things that we were concerned about, both with retaining employees and trying to recruit employees, was the cost of our family coverage and also our coverages with spouse and children. In the market, in the region, in the market, and on the state average, we were about twice what they should be, per employee. So the goal was to get those lower. What you're going to see and what we're going to talk about a little bit here, and Matt's going to go over it with you, and we discussed it previous, was going to a self-insured, basically breaking out of a fully insured program. And if you will, you remember the 3 buckets that were out there. We're going to try to control our own destiny a little bit by managing the claims, managing the pharmacy benefits, and having someone that can help us look that over. So, Matt, I hope I didn't do that too bad for you. Maybe you taught me a little something in this process. Introduce Matt Henderson to you.
Chairman Lovett, Commissioners, and Administration, it's an honor to be in front of you today. And again, my name is Matt Henderson with Bridge Insurance, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
You self-insured, you're talking about.
Yeah, you want to explain that?
Yeah, currently you guys are fully insured right now. You just get a quote each year.
Right.
And you have the premium is what the premium is. And if you've got a good loss ratio, you've essentially overpaid. And if you have a bad one, the good thing is that the insurance is there. But like what was stated earlier, when you go self-funded, typically you usually come out ahead one out of 5 years typically. So does that answer the question about
Yeah, I
fully
was just,
self-funded?
that's going to put the individual, as far as health insurance, he's going to be responsible for his health insurance.
No, sir. Actually, when we're talking about self-funding, we're talking about, instead of a board or a commission going with one provider. Well, let me just say it like this. You tell me if I go wrong.
Sure, absolutely.
Hopefully I picked up a little something. Cigna, let's say, or Aetna, or Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Once you contract with them, which is what we've been doing, you pay one flat premium, and that's it. You're done, right? They administer the claims, they control the pharmacy, and in fact, in some cases, own the pharmacy that they use. And then they just tell you each year what your renewal rate's going to be. And that's typically what we've done. That's where we've been. When the costs keep going up, then we start looking for some options. Well, what we quickly discovered with Matt and Amber's help is some of the larger insurance companies, I'll stay away from calling names, not only control the claims and what's paid for the claims and how that's handled, they also own the pharmacy. And so they're controlling the cost of the drugs. And in those cases, they're setting the claims limits, they're setting the drug cost and what'll be paid, and they're also getting rebates back from the drug manufacturers on the drugs they're allowing to be paid. So it's a pretty interesting thing. That's what I'll call it. Pretty interesting, and I'll be nice when I say that. So when we break that apart, basically what we're going to do is we're going to take control. We're going to have a third-party administrator that basically oversees the claims, takes care of the claims. We'll have a rider with a pharmacy group. In this case, you remind me who that is. Health Graham. That's basically going to take care of that. The employee won't see any change, except for there could be some drugs, high dollar cost drugs, that are used really outside of a script purpose. And I won't pick out any one drug to use, Matt, but in that situation, they may have to go back through their provider, their doctor, to get that reauthorized, especially if they're not using it for the intended purpose. I don't mean they're misusing drugs. I mean they're being prescribed for weight loss or something, and the drug really is not scripted for that. So there could be some changes related to that. The other thing that the employees will see, and Laura's going to go over this for you, will be the tremendous change in what those people have to pay to add an attachment to their policy. The county basically pays most of the premium for the employee, and the employees contribute. That won't change. But what you will see change is what they pay for family coverage, family and spouse, or family and child, which was where we wanted to be. So, but again, self-funding is us funding it and not giving it all to one big agency to control.
So will your group require the wellness program? I mean, Joey, there'll be opportunities there for employees to go and have, every 3 months, they're gonna have to have a physical, or if they coming back in there and saying, well, I'm having to take this, then, that their supervisors are gonna know if he can operate certain type of equipment and things like that. Now, who's gonna be doing that?
So there's a couple of things when we talk about, let's see, I want to call wellness in two pieces. One is a wellness piece that's driven by the marketer in this case, which would be Cigna, that would control that, because we'll still be under a large health network. It's just that they won't control the underlying pieces. Cigna's gonna have what I want to call some self-help programs. And so they're gonna provide some things that you go to the doctor, get your blood pressure checked and things like that. There's some benefits to that. That is really what you're talking about. The plan we're going into, well, let me talk about the plan we're leaving. The plan that we're proposing to leave has a wellness piece built in that we're paying for through premiums. So we're funding it already. What we'll do in this case is we'll continue to fund the wellness piece that Laura's always carried on in that. So, mean to be so long-winded, but there's what I want to say, preventive care wellness, and then there's the wellness piece that we do in-house here every year. We'll be able to continue by.
Well, and that was the one thing, the preventive type. Now, has this been shared with the county employees? I mean, all of them, do they understand, hey, or are we just gonna say?
Well, there's nothing that'll change for them. I mean, there's really, that was one thing we wanted to make sure of. So the other option that was out there, that is out there, that the county's been in before, was what I want to call a self-created network. And there's an official term for that, I'm sure. But it's basically where we go in and we create our own network, like some industries do in the area. We did that, moved there 1 year. When you have those created, you're more likely to have disruption in the system than if you stay with a large provider. So the doctors, just about everybody that is in the Blue Cross network is in the Cigna network.
Right.
I mean, it was. We didn't think it was a good idea. Matt agreed that we get away to a special program created for Liberty County employees. That would have been an issue. Already going to be disruption just by changing, because you're going to have a different card. Got to get all that out. A couple reasons we're here pretty quickly. That's what we previewed it beforehand and talked about it. And this is the other thing you gain by being self-funded, okay, on the insurance, big thing. If as long as we stay with one provider, they control all the data in the network, claims experience, specific information on things that have been provided to the employees that renewal people want to see, to give you a quote. They generally don't make that information available, in fact, until about 2 to 3 weeks ago. So as long as you stay in that, you don't get any information until it's almost time to renew.
No claims detail.
There's no detail. To use a good term, they got you by the bootstraps. Going this way, you'll be in control and own that data. Every month, every quarter, we'll be able to take a look at where our claims experiences are. If we don't get out from under that, you're always going to be hooked. Our renewal date is July 1st. Our date for open enrollment under law is in May. So they would always have you in a crunch. This is going to free that up and give you more way to look at the stuff.
How many employees are you looking at?
I think it was 170.
Well, there's 177 on the enrollment right now. Of course, we have some that don't take the insurance. In fact,
right.
There's about 380 employees currently enrolled.
Yeah, we don't have the waiver number up there, but there's a pretty good number that for one reason or another waive the insurance, and Laura can address these better for you because she deals with them one-on-one when they come in to sign up. A lot of those have another insurance, and it may be TRICARE, this military. So some insurances are easier to work dually with. TRICARE is not one of them. And we have a lot of employees that are retired military that choose not to take the county health insurance because they need TRICARE, and they just don't communicate well with other providers.
Okay.
Laura, if I could, get you to come up real quickly, and what she's gonna run through with you is the current rates, what you're seeing on the current premium from Blue Cross Blue Shield, and then we'll talk about the go forward.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. So you all have a copy of the sheet?
Yeah.
So we've had a committee meeting over the last month or two, made up of members of the board, sheriff, chief deputy, Matt and Amber, myself and Joey and Joseph, and we've taken a really hard look at everything. Because one of the biggest things we heard was the cost of family coverage, as Joey mentioned, trying to get that down and more affordable for our employees. So what this chart shows is our current enrollment with the current Anthem renewal. So in the bottom right-hand corner, you see our current annual cost, Liberty County's current cost, and then what our renewal came in at. Now, what we want to do is take some of the expected or anticipated savings by going self-insured and applying that to additional premium towards the dependent tiers. So in the top right, you see the contribution percentages and the tier. So we've always done 90% towards the employee-only coverage, well, since 7/1/17, and nothing for the employee spouse, employee child, and family tiers. So what you'll see here is we're plugging in these various percentages, heavy on the family, and what it would yield for the employee's biweekly payroll deduction, keeping it in line with our target contribution, which is our anticipated savings. And we've also done a projection on the open enrollment migration. So should people switch to a dependent tier, we've taken that into consideration. And based on current premiums, an employee could see between $100 to $200 more in their biweekly paycheck with this health insurance savings. So that would be very meaningful.
So the number that you see on the Anthem rates, as Laura mentioned, are the, what we've been given from Anthem, if we stay with a totally insured, fully insured plan with them. You see the family and what it would cost per month per employee at $2,163.31 in the blue. The new rate for that employee who was hired after 7/1/17 would drop down to to $861.91. So we're able to more than cut that rate in half for that. The other thing that Laura had heard, speak for her, but employee spouse coverage was a concern that we heard. That'll move from $1,710 a month down to $673.81. I mean, it's a tremendous move to do that. Other thing I wanted to mention, I failed to mention, one of the biggest things that Matt made us aware of is the savings for controlling your own destiny in the pharmacy market. We talked about that a little bit with the drugs, what some people are paying, and what we're reimbursing for out of our premium right now to Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Estimated, not guaranteed, but again, looking at averages, looking at what other clients have achieved in doing this, you're looking, based on our usage, at probably a savings of around $600,000 in the first year just from medication alone out of that. So what we want to be able to do, again, much like the property, exactly like the property, is in that insurance fund, you'd also have a piece that would be health insurance. The county would, we're proposing that you don't try to take that $600,000 savings, because you won't really know it until month 13, right? Again, we're in a little bit of a long run here, so it's a long program. But basically, we want to use part of those projected savings at $300,000 to help drive down those family costs. Now, what you'll do again, no savings on the health insurance first year. What we're trying to do is control the market. Instead of having somebody coming in and telling us what the rate's gonna be from now on, we wanna get more control in the destiny. We wanna send that money over to the insurance fund. We wanna let that money work in the fund. It won't be used for anything else. The commission then gets to take a look at what those claims are, and in year two, to be able to say, can we reduce further? Do we want to expand the offerings? What do you want to be able to do? And that's how the self-insured program would work as it relates to health insurance.
Another thing I wanted to mention is Matt and Amber from Oak Ridge brought some very eye-opening information about our competitors who we're competing with for employees, especially with law enforcement. And you know, those are very hard to fill spots. And so they gave us insight on what's competitive in the market, whether it's, you know, the monthly rate, which we wanted to get down to the $800 a month, and we just about got there for family. You know, the co-pays and things like that. And they've showed us that with this model, we will be very competitive with the Effinghams and the Waynes and Chathams and things like that, where we were really out of the ballpark as far as health insurance. You know, employees wanted to come and work for Liberty County till they saw the health insurance number, and that would scare them away. So I thank Matt and Amber for their work on that.
Mr. Chairman, I had a question. Laura, on this sheet, the high option POS, what is that like compared to the PPO we currently have?
Yes.
That would be if you want.
Right,
So
these
they
are-
have the option of that step up?
The standard plan and the high option plan, we will mirror those plans. They will be the same plans that we have now. Actually, we had introduced a third option, the lower bronze option, which was more of a high deductible health plan. That was our first attempt at helping with the family premium, but it's just not as good of a plan, and we have very few enrollees. So we're going to drop that plan and go back to the two plans that we had for so long, the standard option and then the buy-up option. But we're not changing the plan benefits at all.
Right, okay.
We offered that high option in order to try to cure what didn't work by offering a low premium. But what you got here on premiums will be just as good with better benefits for those employees.
Is it still an HMO?
They are both POS plans now.
Really? Okay. That's even better.
So the recommendation that comes to you from the committee, and I thank Matt and those Amber too for taking the time to get proposals together and did everything they did from anybody that wanted to put an option in, would be to approve contracts to move into self-insured status with International Specialty Underwriters, ISU for short, and Health Graham, who would be the pharmacy manager, and that would be effective July 1st to do that. Health Graham's TPA, yes, thank you.
Now, that particular pharmacy, you can get it online? I mean, you can order your medicine online, or can we go, who?
There will be an online component. The Health Graham is actually going to be the TPA, the third-party administrator, that's going to be administering all aspects of the plan. The pharmacy is going to be a PBM, pharmacy benefit manager, called Getty RX.
Well, right now, if they need something, they go to Heinz and Drug, or they go to Revco, and I'm just saying, they're gonna have to get in their vehicle and go somewhere, or they?
No,
They're going to be able to get the medications the same way they
Okay.
get them today.
Yeah, same way.
Mail order, yeah.
Mail order.
There will be a mail order option, absolutely.
One last thing, I think, we explored some other options too that could involve, use of local facilities, use of specialized facilities and things like that. And that is something I think that'd be good for y'all, not to stop looking into, but you can look into next year. But the thing we were trying to accomplish in the short run was as little disruption as possible to the employees to go over and make this move. And so that's something you can continue to look at, or other options, as a matter of fact. So this is just getting you in place for where we think you need to be to move into the future.
Going self-funded opens the door to all that flexibility down the road without being
Well,
tied to one carrier.
I mean, there's one thing that we've identified is the employees that we got. There's, I mean, that's gonna be a burden to them, any way around it, anything over $500 a month. I mean, when you think about it, that's a pile of money. But I guess our next project, Joey, is gonna be working on the increase in some salaries.
Well, you've already kind of reset those last year, which is pretty good. Actually, we would like y'all to look, I mean, the target rate for where we really want to be per month, and you just said that, was really under $500 a month. We really, what we were seeing on the norm was somewhere around $443, $445 per month per employee. This makes a mark on it in the first year, but that's the reason you need to continue to fund it so that you can hopefully chop away that some more.
So if you took, let's just say that this is gonna be an increase of 5%, if that's a fair number, and say, this board will pay 2% of your insurance, and will help you, because that is not a taxable item, I don't believe, is it, the insurance?
They can do it.
Out of your W-2, you'll have your
It's a
your
pre-tax
wages.
deduction.
Yeah, pre-tax.
And that's what I'm saying. So it would look to me like that maybe that's something that we need to look at as far as encouraging them to, let's take part of that money, even though there may be a 5% raise, they take 2% of it to pay on their insurance. I don't know, but I just think this is it's been a while since I've negotiated an insurance thing, but I do remember at times, when you get trying to negotiate a contract, you wind up with 6%, and they're thinking, oh, wow, that's a good increase, but it's all gonna be taxable, so we got them to take 3% and then take the other 3% and put it towards your insurance, which is not taxable item.
Mm-hmm.
But, we don't work like that, so we're just gonna have to encourage them to.
Again, I think in
That was
closing.
something, Ms. Brown, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but if that was something I don't know if it's too soon to kind of get some numbers to see if that's something we could do before the budget is approved? As far as paying maybe 3%? Or is that something that we're going to chop away at as we self-fund, or?
Well, you already pay most of the premium for the employee. Right. And so what you're doing, in essence here, is really paying on top for the employees beyond that, for family and spouse. You're coming in it from the back door, so you're applying. Under self-insured.
Okay.
Right. You're
Well,
funding it.
I just didn't know if that
Yeah.
may be something else that we could give the employee as a benefit to help.
As far as,
I know
paying-
we pay for theirs,
right.
for the employees, but for the rest, the employee and spouse, employee, children, family, if there's something that we could do for them.
Well, you are. So you think about it, you're doing this. You're gonna go ahead and you're gonna take 6%, what was the Blue Cross percentage number? We didn't put it on here for the percent increase.
4.3.
Okay, so basically you're gonna increase your insurance funding 4.3% plus $300,000, and you're gonna infuse the payment on family coverage by driving it lower. You're making a payment on their behalf, is what you're doing. You're doing it from the opposite.
Okay, I got you,
basically.
okay.
Mhm.
Well, we need to make sure we explain that to them.
Well, the biggest thing to them that they're gonna look at is how much is coming out of it.
That's
Yeah.
right, and it should be
it's-
lower
It is,
this year.
it's very good to go from, you know,
In the right
per
direction.
month, $2,100, you know, down to 800.
Yes.
I mean, that's
a big
huge.
savings. I appreciate.
And it makes us competitive.
Yes, it does.
Right.
You know, I, anything to help them and retain them, that's what I was trying to do. I've always been scared of an insurance salesman and a taxi driver, you know, but
I'm not an insurance salesman, I'm an advisor.
well, you know,
I don't like them
taxi
either, that's why I
drivers-
got in the business.
So
I
one
just,
other
uh,
quick piece of thing, Amber Cornegie, who sat quietly in the back, done a lot of work behind the scenes. She's
Lot of
actually,
work.
she is, Matt is out of the Atlanta area where Oak Ridge is. Amber's actually over in Jessup. So they'll come in, she's right here to be able to help with orientation and everything that needs to happen with the employees and to answer questions. She's been a big help.
and just get a good picture of him and age it a little bit so we'll know who to look for. Those two sitting right over there, don't forget them neither.
Yeah, Amber's been a world of help to us. We appreciate it.
Sure has.
And being in
Thank
the local area has really helped us too, to get a good snapshot of what's done in and around us. So we appreciate that. Would not have had that without her and Matt. And then we think this is not 100% where we want to be, but it's a great move in the right direction.
Great move.
It's a great move in the right direction. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I just want to say to Matt and Amber, it's been a pleasure. I learned a lot. Like Mr. Brown said, he learned a lot. That's why he stole your show.
Fine with me.
Along with others who have worked on this has been a long time coming. I've asked about this for 10 years, and here it is. So I feel happy about it. It's almost like an employee raise
It is a raise.
to them. So I hope that this will help to maintain employees within the county. Thank you, Bob. Maybe Matt, I'm sorry I call you Bob.
But all right.
Amber.
He don't look like a Bob that used to be in here, did he?
Nah, not that one.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve the
Second.
health insurance.
That's a quick second on that.
Yep.
Motion and second. Any further discussion?
Because I worked on it.
All in favor, show of hands, please. And this will become effective when?
July 1st.
July 1st.
Okay. And I know Laura's going to do some,
Lots of employee meetings, a lot of education.
yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
And Amber has made herself available to us if we schedule it. So,
Yes, and not just now, but they've pledged to attend our monthly retirement orientation and make it a retirement and health combo for all new hires.
we appreciate
Great.
that.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for everything y'all do.
Thank you.
Y'all didn't all come in the same car, did you?
Summer food program. Man in the blue suit.
Oatmeal and blueberry.
Mr. Chair, members of the board.
He gonna make us eat healthy.
One of the programs that you all provide for children in this community is the summer food program. As you're well aware, a lot of our kids in the school system, the school system provide meals, but in the summer months, there's a deficit. And you guys have agreed to fund a program to provide for students who are in that gap. It would help if I turn it on, right? So last year, y'all, again, wanted to move forward with the program, and David Floyd came before you and shared with you some interesting statistics about the program. David this year, unfortunately, said, "Hey, I'm burnt out," and so he said he graciously bowed out. And so what we did is Laura and I put an ad in the paper, and we interviewed a number of people, and we were able to hire this wonderful lady here. We're going to ask Miss Nichelle James. Miss Nichelle James, come on, Nichelle. She was hired to do the program for this year. She just came back from Happy Helpings, getting all the information. And there'll be a number of things that she'll need to do. On last year, we talked about the sites, and we'll go in that in a few minutes. She'll need some help in terms of site supervisors, and she'll also, once she get, site monitors, but once she gets the sites, she'll need to hire people who will run the sites. And last year, we were constrained to 15 sites because we were re-entering the program. This year, we can expand to as many as the board desires. And so that's where we would solicit your input in terms of where would y'all like to see sites?
Will she have to start from ground zero with site supervisor, or is that information available to us from those who work with David?
David is going to provide us with people who work as the site monitors as well as the site supervisors. But in order to move the program forward, because she'll need to write a grant, we'll need to procure a contract with a food vendor. The board will need to sign off for some things. And the first thing y'all will need to do is...
She has to go to training, right?
She's been to training. She just
Okay.
returned from training. So what she'll need to do, y'all need to appoint her as the Liberty County Happy Homes representative, and then we'll move forward with the procuring the contract, hiring the personnel, and doing everything we need to get the program moving forward. The tentative date is the first Monday in July, and we'll end the last Friday, I believe, June.
Oh, I was gonna say, they've starved by
And
then.
and it'll be the last Friday in July. It'll be the program period for about 8 weeks.
Okay.
How are we looking for, and I hate, you're probably gonna cover this, for potential vendors to provide the food?
That's where we have to go through the procurement process. We've already put an ad in the paper, came out today, trying to secure that. And Ms. James will also reach out to our past food vendor requesting a quote. And then we'll do some other things to try to procure a quote.
Nervous?
A little bit.
No, I was talking to him.
Oh.
I was talking to him. I'm joking.
Sleepy.
Is the Happy Helping
5
Grant-
o'clock meetings at,
Sorry. The Happy Helping Grant is just a template we just have to fill in the blanks. So it doesn't take the strategic grant writing to have the right language. If you don't have the right language, you don't get funded, not that kind of thing.
When we met with David on Monday, he shared that Ms. James will be able to go into the grant portal, and she'll be able to extract some of past grants that were written, and she'll be able to fill in the blanks. This month or next couple of weeks, she'll be doing a lot of the groundwork of trying to get the sites and procuring the food contract and getting the grant up to Happy Helpings.
excited.
Great, that's great. Mr. Chairman.
Welcome aboard.
Let's, of course, I don't know, it would be great that David could come to here, and first of all, we could recognize him for the work that he's done. I don't know how many years he's been doing it. And I mean, he's handing the torch over to this lady, and be a way to letting the folks know who the new person is gonna be. You ought to be able to arrange that, hadn't you, Joseph?
Yes,
You
sir.
can take a real good picture. I mean, I don't care nothing about being in it. I'm just saying, let's recognize those folks that have helped, so.
Say
And the
Happy
ones that's
Helpings
gonna be
on
there for the
3.
future. I don't know, I think he's done it for about 8 years.
He said 7.
7 or 8, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I know, but you remember, because we had to pause because of COVID.
Huh?
Because of COVID. You
Just
remember
1 year.
we paused for, well, actually, we just brought it back last year,
Yes, we did.
right? Because we missed it the time.
But 1 year is because.
And you know, this was
finding
one of the projects I always wanted to see.
The
Nah,
issue
let
with
me
finding a
stop.
food provider.
A provider, somebody to make the
It's been
food.
several years.
Anyway,
So we
I think she'll do a
need a
great job.
motion tonight for
So
you,
moved,
to
Mr.
go
Chair.
ahead and move towards the program and name her as director.
As we say in the church, name this lady.
There was a motion down.
Tell us her name again,
Miss
please.
Nichelle James.
Ms. James,
Nichelle.
Nichelle James.
Nichelle.
Ms. James, how are you?
I'm great.
Welcome.
how you doing?
Tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
I'm Michelle James, originally born and raised in New York. I've been here for 23 years via the military. My background is food service. I was food service sergeant in the military. I just finished 10 years as the senior cook at Job Corps in Brunswick. And now I'm available for this project that is near and dear to my heart for personal and community service reasons. And yeah, I'm just excited of getting things moving.
Good to have
Glad
you.
to have you on
Glad
board.
to have
Great, thank you. Thank you for,
Military brought you here,
Yes,
and you
Yes.
made it your home.
yes, for the
Another one.
past 23 years.
Good to have you.
Great.
Good to have you.
Likewise.
Good to have you. Good to have you.
Mr. Chair, we have a motion and a second.
I made that second.
Oh, I made the
Is there-
second.
You made the motion.
Oh, well, yeah, he made it second.
Okay.
Either way you want to put it.
I second about 30 minutes ago.
And I just told the chairman, yeah, this is feeling like AME church right
Bring
now.
it back in.
Are we gonna vote on it?
It's time to say amen.
All in favor, show of hands, please. Welcome aboard.
Welcome
Mr.
aboard.
Mosley,
We appreciate
very
you.
happy, and I'm glad that
Sure you
Mr.
did
Floyd has
good.
offered himself to assist, so.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman.
And it's a great program.
You asked her that she made this a home. She said she was from New York. Have you ever been up there?
It's good to visit.
Oh, yeah, I go once every 5 years.
All right.
72 hours.
Any administrative report, sir? No? Anything else for good order?
ACCG
Well,
in
we
a
got
couple
meetings
weeks.
tomorrow,
ACCG's
Joey,
next week.
workshop.
We do have budget workshop starting at 8:30 in the morning. Actually, budget presentations at 8:30.
Starting at 8:30.
8:30,
Lunch.
lunch.
Hey,
30.
Next week.
I thought it was 9.
All right.
Yeah, ACCG.
Motion
next
to
week.
adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second. All in favor?
Thank y'all.